All right. We have breaking news. Continue. We are live. Continue.
Yes, from Justice, who cannot be with us in person tonight, just informed us that in California, there is now a quarantine in effect for all people 65 and older. All bars will be closed. All restaurants have to go half their capacity.
Baby, restaurants mandatory have to go half capacity in California. I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah, that's what we have latest from Justice.
Wow, that is incredible. Well, live from Hollywood, it's Free Hollywood Live. The live show where libertarian comrades discuss pop culture, top news, technology, and bullshit with you, the commenters in the chat. And for you listening to the replay as well, welcome. I am your anointed host, Anarcho Jesus, twin stepbrother of the actual Lord Jesus. I have settled for Lord and Savior of pop culture. Joining me tonight, the professor of game with a master's degree, Darth Yoda. You look adorable as always, my sweet little child.
Oh, I prefer ruggedly handsome to adorable, but I'll take it. We're good.
Hey, man, I hear Kathleen Kennedy is trying to infiltrate the Mandalorian writer room. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't. Tell us.
Well, it seems as though...
I thought season 2 was already in production, and so pretty much written, I would assume. And
was in production. I'd venture to say was in production. I don't know how many shows they were able to get in the can before there's an article from the Hollywood Reporter, and we're going to get into that in just a minute. Basically, all of Hollywood is shutting down.
Yeah.
Just to add to the breaking news from Justice there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it seems as though Kathleen Kennedy was attempting to infiltrate the writer's room in order to use the popularity of the show The Mandalorian in order to explain how Palpatine was able to amass for himself the power and resources to build the fleet of Star Destroyers that we saw in The Rise of Skywalker and things. What do you think of that?
I don't know. I like the idea of The Mandalorian being a show that's kind of happening out in the Star Wars galaxy in between the original trilogy and the Disney trilogy. It doesn't... So I like the idea that's kind of on the fringes of the universe, so to speak, right now. It doesn't need to be like some massive thing that is forced into the sequel trilogy. Yeah, I'm talking off the top of my head because this is the first I've heard of it. But forcing it into the sequel trilogy seems like a bad idea. I like it just being something that's happening in the Star Wars universe versus versus kind of the forced route that Star Trek has gone with these streaming shows, where suddenly out of all the possible Vulcans that the main character on Discovery could have been raised with, somehow she's going to be raised with Sarek, and she's going to be Spock's thus far unknown human sister. So, long story short, I don't like when you just kind of like force things in to the main plot line when they don't have to be. It's nice to have like broader universes where there are things going on that are, where you allude to the main storyline, but not everything has to be forced into just one main plot. So that's just me, though.
Yeah, man, I totally feel you there. So you want to see stories that are self-contained and not necessarily having to tie into the larger story so that we can enjoy it on a different level and not have to have it kind of tainted by the turd in the punch bowl. I mean, the Disney sequel trilogy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I could get on board with that too, my friend. And the idea of Kathleen Kennedy being in the writer's room influencing what's going on in there, especially in this time of quarantine, I don't like it. Yeah. It's we want to be able to quarantine and chill. That's the name of our stream tonight.
Yeah.
And how can we do that when our pop culture entertainment has been basically ruined by political agenda?
Yeah. So what do we have left? What's out there right now? Picard is just sort of sputtering along. It's not horrible, but it's not the most amazing thing either.
Yeah, I can't wait to catch up. But the plan that I had about going home and seeing it with my family, that's all gone now because I'm self-quarantined at this point.
Yeah.
And not by mandate, but I'm just canceling my trips and things. We're all set here at the old Anarcho household.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're just going to hang tight. And so I may have to put off my Picard watching till a little bit later on, unless I can squeeze that password out of my mother for ABC All Access.
Well, I mean, if she's really watching Young and the Restless from the beginning, I mean, that's one of those just the ultimate binge watch, and I don't think there's going to be much room for you to watch Picard in there. I mean, she's barely, she's been at this for a while, and I bet she's barely through the first couple of months of 1973 at this point.
I'd like to welcome Land of 420 in the chat saying amen. Not sure to which thing he's saying amen. Welcome to the Quarantine and Chill stream, Tecate edition.
Welcome.
Yeah. Speaking of which, how's everyone doing out there? That's really important to get a feel from the audience. How's things going out there in the real world of quarantine and chill? Everyone keeping a level head and executing a sound survival plan, I hope. Did you hear that England? Well, there's some news from England, and that's something else that might be breaking news. I'm not sure. Have you heard of what's going on in England?
No, other than Trump expanded the flight ban now to include the UK and Ireland, which were not part of the original ban from a few days ago. But is there something internally, news-wise, in England worth sharing?
Oh yeah, absolutely is. But before we do that, I just want to really emphasize, to not panic. Okay, people, don't panic. So I'm actually going to turn the camera on for a moment. This is the Tecate stream, and all I have around here is water. So I'm going to see about what I can do about that. Well, I have this iPad here. Okay, here we go. Yeah, gotta see if there's anything I can do about this situation because, I don't usually come prepared for drinking streams, but as the twin brother.
Oh, there you go. All right.
I have turned the water into Tecate.
Wow.
That's how we do it.
Yeah.
Over at the Anarcho Jesus household. So cheers.
Right.
Cheers, my
so
friend.
If you give me, I'm going to give you approximately 10 seconds solo, and I'm going to go get a beer for myself then and join you. All right?
Right on.
So I will be right back.
10 seconds solo. Oh my God, what am I going to do with myself?
Well, you can talk to Land of 420, who just informed us that today was declared National Prayer Day.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. National Prayer. I should have known. I mean, I'm Jesus Christ twin stepbrother, so I'm not always as up to date on things. I think we have lost Darth Yoda for a minute. Let's go to the chat, which is always a great thing to do whenever you've run out of material. Not that we have plenty tonight. Let me get a sip of this Tecate first. Now I hear YouTube 101 is you should never sip into the microphone. I'm not sure if I did just then. I'm gonna have to check that back out on the playback. By the way, I'm hoping that this is coming through how are we sounding tonight? I've got the Yeti going loud and clear with the gain up to at least 6. Bland of 420 says, today is a great day to get drunk on the Holy Spirit. Yes, indeed.
Indeed. So right now I did not crack open a can of Holy Spirit. I cracked open a can of Too Juicy from Two Roads Brewery, who are located in Connecticut somewhere. So Too Juicy is a delicious New England style IPA, nice hazy, juicy IPA.
Nice, eclectic.
So we're going
local.
So we're going with that. Yeah.
Right on, right on. All right. Well, welcome back to the Tecate stream. Oh. About back in. England.
Oh, yes, England.
Now, I'm not sure if this has hit our news. I'm not keeping up with mainstream news. I've caught a little criticism from my wife for that. She says, how can you be live streaming? You're not even listening to mainstream news. I'm like, well, if I would have been listening to mainstream news, I wouldn't have been this prepared,
Exactly.
Back when I got the red alert going off in my brain and the red flags are starting to show, I did what my muscle memory from 2008 told me to do. Go buy water, go buy rice, go buy dried foods, canned goods, medical supplies, whatever you need, just like before. And but at that time, the media was like, there's nothing to worry about. It's just the flu. Mm-hmm. Don't panic, which is always a great message. And that is definitely our message. Don't panic. But if don't panic means don't prepare, then my dinner just arrived. Thank you very much. So Anarcho Jesus' condo in Hollywood. I live with my wife and
the entire People's Republic of Dos Equis.
Pretty much the People's Republic of Beijing. And I just was served some dinner, which is great because just before we went live, this internet was being highly competed for. I had the teenager upstairs live streaming the video game and my wife working out in the upper room, with the Holy Spirit and YouTube. And everyone on their cell phones, basically streaming WeChat videos all day long. So everyone's about to eat. The internet is all ours. This should be the most
excellent.
Yeah, the most excellent stream from this point forward until they're all done eating. And I have a little bit of kimchi and some rice to go along with my water having turned into cerveza Tecate. Yeah. This is the retro pack. As I take another sip. So England.
England. Next topic. Yes. What's happening in England?
To summarize, my wife translated to me an article that she was getting probably from alternative media coming from China. So take this with a grain of salt. But it seems as though England has thrown in the towel. Like they've officially said, don't be expecting help from the government. Everything is not okay. Mm-hmm. You're on your own. Good luck. See you on the other side. And of course, they're going to catch criticism for this. But there's some logic to it.
Yeah, I saw a day or two ago that, basically Boris Johnson's government at this point has decided, look, we're going to let this thing go to some extent and hope that it burns out and we build up herd immunity.
Okay. So you have heard some of this. Okay,
that is something along these lines. Yeah.
So that was to continue from what she translated from the article was that, if you're old, please don't get it. Quarantine yourself. If you're young, we're expecting you to get it and survive. We're not working on the vaccine to fight this version of the coronavirus. We're working on the next the next mutation of it. And we need you to build up the antibodies over the summer so that we can use you in order to be able to produce that vaccine. But that's going to be like a year away, at least at the bare minimum. And that's really sad. So the best thing you can do right now is to self-quarantine. Don't wait for someone to tell you to do it. Just limit your exposure to other people at this point. YouTube's a great place to do that.
Indeed.
And we have the Land of 420 asking, so what are you guys all about? Well, the Land of 420, things have changed here on YouTube since we were an active YouTube channel, Rep Freedom Force, back when Ron Paul was running for president in 2008 and then later in 2012. We started this YouTube channel as a way to promote Ron Paul campaign. We have diverse backgrounds. Those of us in the Rep Freedom Force, Darth Yoda and myself and Justice, who wasn't able to join us tonight. And we have others, Monkey Wrench, who we're going to have in a future stream.
One of these days, we really are going to drag Monkey Wrench on here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's in our videos, so you can see who he is. He's in videos.
Yeah.
And so forth. And speaking of, one of the first videos we posted on the channel was
Bank
called,
Run.
Exactly. That was the video. And just the other day, I received an email from YouTube saying that we got a copyright warning from the song that Monkey Wrench suggested, the one that would never get a copyright strike, and that was that song by Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd? Jaw Dredd. The song that basically runs the duration of the video. So I'm like, okay, it's fine that we leave it up, they say. It's no longer a monetized video. I'm not sure that it ever was. YouTube did send me a check, I guess, direct to my bank account. I didn't actually get a physical check, so I didn't notice it till like 2 years later when I was doing taxes. But I did get a $100 check from YouTube for, I guess, content that we produced from this channel. So there was a few viral videos. They tended to go viral when other people would repost them to their own channels. That was because they knew more about the algorithm than we did back then. And but we're getting active once again here on YouTube. Coronavirus thing just happens to be breaking out at the same time that we're doing this. We kind of wanted to talk more about pop culture than politics, but also since we're libertarians, we'd give our spin on politics as well in a humorous way. And anything you want to add to that, by the way, Darth Yoda? I don't want to.
I think that's that sums it up nicely.
Well, one of the things we always wanted to produce was a video that
the epic.
Exactly, the epic. And we never did quite produce a video that that was the epic that we wanted to produce, but there is a video I felt later on that qualified as an epic video, and you can find that on our channel. It's called Freedom Fridays, Anarchy Popcorn and the Rebel Yell. And that's it kind of captured the vibe of what I was trying to create on the channel at about the time that things kind of got shut down, that we shut things down. So, yeah, well, Ron Paul got shut down by the GOP.
Yeah, and I think there was a lot of disappointment during the fallout from that. And
there was, and I needed to focus on my career at that point and quit focusing so much on YouTube. I had given several years to that. But we're back.
We brought the channel back. And
it's years later, and we have all kinds of knowledge and experience since that time to bring.
Exactly.
Yeah, and now the live streaming capability is so much more accessible now than it was then. Yeti microphone's affordable. There wasn't even such a thing back then.
Yeah.
Says, Land of 420 says, I was also a strong Ron Paul 2012 proponent. Oh, that's great. So you were a part of the revolution, the Revolution. You remember how that went?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Those are some really gracious comments. Says, you gentlemen are blessed with discernment. The spirit of liberty must be strong with you. Well, that's the thing that really drove the channel in the first place and still does to this day. We realized that there's multiple paths to liberty. And at that time, we felt that we were, at least here in Hollywood, one of the threads to that tapestry that was being created. Ron Paul was a big part of that back then. But really, it's more than just a any particular campaign or movement. It's individuals that have to continue speaking truth and living the message.
Yeah, and speaking of speaking truth, Land of 420 actually just did speak some truth himself or herself.
I'm going to take a sip of this water to wine Tecate.
Land of 420 reminds us that Romney's people cheated Ron Paul out of speaking, and referring to the 2012 Republican convention there. Now everyone knows Romney is a traitor. Yes.
Oh, well, and don't you just love how Donald Trump simped the hell out of Romney back when he... I mean, I took a little personal pleasure when that went down. He had Romney come up to his office up in Trump Tower and thought he was going to get offered a position, in the cabinet or something like that, but basically was given a reaming from what was.
So, there was a meme that went around from that. It has them, sitting out at dinner or something with Trump with this like shit-eating grin on his face, and Romney just looking so awkward. And the caption, comes from Game of Thrones, and it's Trump asks, "What is your name?" And Romney's answer, "My name is Reek."
He took his balls.
Yes.
Oh man! For those of you who, I guess we all get the reference. We don't need to elaborate. Oh man! Wow. Yes. Totally cucked. And says here, legalize freedom. I came up with that motto. If you ever encountered it. Yeah. Yes,
absolutely.
We did.
Yeah.
I recall the Ron Paul revolution being one of the ground zeros of memes online in general. And that was one of them. Legalize freedom. I remember that meme. Mm-hmm. But back then we didn't think of memes as just every little picture you could slap a funny quote onto and post to Twitter. It was like we thought of memes as literal viral content. Like if your video didn't go viral, it's not a meme. Like if the thing you created didn't get a bunch of views and like a real viral push behind it, then it's not really a meme. That's how I felt about memes back when memes were when I first heard that concept and it was first getting started. But there were a lot of like early Ron Paul memes. I mean, of course, everyone knows, it's happening. Mm-hmm. But so many. I mean, the Ron Paul blimp was a meme. So many. It's incredible.
And we had the Ron Paul limo.
That's right. That was. It was a very special time. Man, we had guys here in Hollywood that were so nuts. They were putting banners in places that you just never would expect banners, and really, in all honesty, should have never been. Just dangerous. But we had a guy in our group that was willing to put a banner anywhere. There was actually quite a rift in, as far as like internal, like in-house politics in the Ron Paul Revolution Hollywood, between doing the bannering safely versus going as public as possible, to hell with the safety.
Yes.
You remember that, right?
Yeah.
It was crazy. I came in sort of, I wasn't aware of that at the time when I was involved. I didn't know that was going on. So it was funny later on, like in the 2012 revolution, when we all got back together to support Ron Paul once again, I didn't realize about that big controversy. So I made some pretty like offhand flippant remarks to the people that were like the spearhead of each side of the argument. Mm-hmm. And there was some pretty uncomfortable like silence and looks, and I didn't know what was going on. Later Justice had to explain to me,
This is a long-standing debate.
He's like, you may not have been there behind the scenes back then, but yeah, it's kind of a thing. But yeah, those were some times, man. We were there. I met Justice actually at the Tea Party, the original Tea Party. This was long before that Glenn Beck style Tea Party.
Yeah,
that most people think of.
This was the Ron Paul grassroots on Boston Tea Party Day, December 2007. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, there was two big ones, one in Boston and one in Santa Monica.
And I was at the Santa Monica one.
Obviously, we were all at the Santa Monica one. Yeah.
Man, I really hate to tell the story with Justice not being here, but I'll go ahead and give it. We'll tell it again with him here and see if I got it right. But basically, he was in the crowd. He was like second in command to Stephen Vincent, who had kind of like self-anointed himself as the leader of Hollywood Revolution, right? Am I wrong? Just okay. You can feel free to jump in and correct me, because you might not have been around way back then, like where I'm talking about. Were you?
I was at the rally. No, I was at the Santa Monica event, but I was not like, I was an attendee. I didn't know anybody locally that well yet. I don't think. I was not up like on stage or whatever with.
But you remember Stephen Vincent kind of seeming like he was a little bit in charge, or
I think so. But again, I got to know Justice and Stephen Vincent and whoever a little later on.
Right. He gave Justice the floor. Like he got up and he gave a little speech. He pulled out read a speech, I believe.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he was also selling. Oh, well, I didn't know he was selling them, but there were like these Ron Paul bandanas. Mm-hmm. I thought someone was just handing them out. And my friend Jabba, you know who I'm talking about, Jabba. My friend Jabba, he gave me one of the bandanas, and I thought it was just like given to me, sort of thing. And then you know how Jabba sometimes gets himself into situations where it's uncomfortable and he has to explain things, but then he's a little bit too nervous to actually do that. And you got to figure things out. Well, that's what happened. That's how I was introduced to Justice. He was just trying to get me to pay the $3 for the bandana, but nobody had informed me of that. And Jabba was kind of chickening out on letting me know like straight up. And then eventually I got the hint, and it's like, oh, that thing cost how much? Oh, $3. And I gave him the money. He was actually, which was smart, right there from the beginning. Justice, trying to have a little side hustle going on.
Mm-hmm. Land of 420 reminds us that grassroots events were almost always got co-opted and spun by fake lamestream media. I would slightly, in the story that we're talking about, I would slightly disagree with that, and I would say that I recall us basically having a media blackout. It was a media blackout. I don't think that the Santa Monica event got mainstream media coverage at all.
Sometimes things were spun, other times things were just completely ignored. And had it not been for the grassroots, these events we're talking about right now would have probably just disappeared into the ether of history. But because we did what we did, all of that footage is on YouTube. People still remember it.
Yeah.
We're talking about it now. You remember it. And that means something. But had it not been the grassroots, that it would have been like nothing ever happened. And it's amazing. And Ron Paul was the godfather of the Tea Party, in a very real sense.
Yeah. Unfortunately, over time, the Tea Party became, got kind of co-opted into more just basic Republican stuff. But at its core, it was originally a libertarian thing. That didn't last forever, though.
That's right, because on the crates of was the tea that represented the tea that were getting thrown over the pier. It was the Iraq War. It was the
IRS,
the IRS.
Federal Reserve,
the Department of Education.
Yeah.
all these things is very libertarian.
All things that the average Republican loves, of course.
At least at that time, how things have changed.
Yeah.
Now it seems that
Orange Man loves the Fed now. The Fed.
I don't know about that.
A new round of quantitative easing got announced.
That's true.
Just an hour before we went live. So I think.
So you're basically saying because of quantitative easing, he loves the Fed.
He's been calling for this. There's quite the dichotomy between, like, say, Trump's attitude about the Fed before he came into office and what his attitude has been lately. Before he came into office, it seemed like he understood basically the Ron Paul, kind of the Austrian critique of the Fed, or at least somebody who had his ear understood it. And he would say things like, this is an unsustainable bubble. If I get into office, I'm going to audit the Fed. But now here we are, and his complaint about the Fed of late is just like, no, they need to cut rates faster. We need quantitative easing now. And
speaking of audit the Fed, Rand Paul carries the torch for his dad in the Senate now for audit the Fed. And we have the Land at 420 once again with the pithy comment here that if Trump endorsed Rand Paul in 2024, he'd probably win. Wow. Huh. That is a thought.
Yeah, we could hope.
Would we want to get involved in this again? And back at the time that Ron Paul was wrapping things up, we would think of, some future supporting Rand Paul. And I believe the consensus at that time was I couldn't imagine myself supporting Rand Paul in the exact same way that I supported his dad. But there's been a lot of years have passed since then.
Yeah, that was a real split in the libertarian scene in general post 2012 was over Rand Paul and the strategy that Rand Paul was pursuing.
Well, Rand Paul wouldn't need blimps.
Yeah.
He has CNN and he's on it.
Yeah, that was the idea, is that Rand would be able to portray these ideas, would pick his battles and portray these ideas that in a way that would appeal to the kind of mainstream Republicans who never gave his dad the time of day. That was a difficult tightrope to walk. Like, I understood the strategy. A lot of people were not happy with that strategy. So, in the end, like, Rand's 2016 campaign, of course, really never got off the ground once primary season started. So hopefully he learned from that experience. He's awesome in the Senate. He's just been, fantastic of late. So hopefully any possible 2024 campaign will go a lot better than Rand 2016 did.
And speaking of learning, do you think he's learning from Donald Trump? Like, watching the way he is dealing with the media? That was one of the really challenging areas his dad had. Dealing with the mainstream media. I mean, they would just get under his skin and fluster him. It really... You could tell, but you see the way Trump deals with the media. I think Rand Paul's watching. You think that maybe he's gonna, I don't know. We can hope. I don't want to get my hopes up. That's the thing. We've already been disappointed twice.
Yeah, 2024 is a long time from now. A lot could happen from now till then. Needless to say.
And besides, towards the end of the Ron Paul revolution, as it were, I basically went anarcho-Jesus and realized there were no political solutions, agreeing with Sting. There are no political solutions. Don't make me, the song, yeah?
No.
Oh, man.
You know that my 80s music interests generally lie in a more metal direction. So, like, my Police or Sting knowledge is pretty much limited to whatever big hits of theirs were, all over classic rock radio when I was still listening to FM radio.
I will keep that in mind for future references.
I never, not really my thing.
We're going to have trouble talking music, you and I can tell, because I'm all about the 80s pop, but then in the 90s, I was in Bible college, so I totally skipped everything.
Yeah, my frame of reference does tend to be a little more 90s. In both cases, it tends to be, the metal or the harder alternative, and so on, less so, pop.
Well, I could understand that, knowing what I know of you. Like, I couldn't imagine you sitting around listening to a whole lot of Cyndi Lauper back in the late 80s.
No.
Not that I was either, but I didn't care about, I didn't mind.
Yeah.
Throw some Madonna on. I'll jam to that. I mean,
No.
people were like getting busy to Madonna back in the day, to Prince,
Yeah.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Thing.
I don't know.
Sucks.
I wasn't really. Yeah.
By the way, my friend, the
There.
Bitcoin close, I believe, is happening right. It may have happened 7 minutes ago. And not to totally derail anything, because we'll come right back to this conversation in a brief moment. But let us take a look at the Bitcoin chart.
So it looks like that little pump you informed me was happening a little while. You have a wick up to 6,000, got rejected, and we're back down to the 5,300 range.
But oh no.
Yeah.
Hang on. That's the 1 hour. Let me go to the daily. You guys can't see this. Oh no, we're 51 minutes away from the daily close, and we just got a pump. By we, I say those of us holding the bag of Bitcoin got a pump like an hour ago, where it pumped up to $6,000, but now it's getting rejected and it's back down to 5,300.
Right,
but here's the thing, and I'm gonna pull up the chart, because I think it's really important that we take a look at this together. If I can do it, I'm not sure if I can.
We were able to do it the other night, so I just opened up TradingView in a new tab. But let's see.
Share screen.
Let's see if you.
I think I'll just do the entire screen. I hear you're not supposed to do that, but whatever. I'm not trying to dox myself, but boom. Can you see it?
Yeah.
All
there
right.
we go.
This is Bitcoin on the daily chart. Yes, the 1 day chart. Now, the thing about, no, it wasn't the daily. It's the weekly that we're really wanting to see. Yes, there. Oh God, no. You see that blue line?
There's our weekly candle there. Yeah, that's the 200-day moving average, isn't it?
No, that would be the 200 week.
200 week.
Yes, you had it right, but except for the weekly. And and here's the thing: in the entire history, the 10, 11 years of Bitcoin, it's never closed on a weekly below the 200 weekly moving average, which is this blue line right here. And as you can currently see, the Darth Vader red girthy candle is currently below the 200 weekly moving average. But the good news is we still have 49 minutes left in this weekly candle before it closes. So if we can get Bitcoin to rally, how much money do you have, Darth Yoda?
God, not enough to move that candle.
You don't deal in fiat anyway. It's all like tattooing credits and things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if it's 5,400 right now. So basically, if we can get it up to 5,500, I believe that's where the line. Let's check it.
So yeah, let's check exactly what that moving average is.
Okay, let's see. So that's the 200 EMA. So some people may be looking at the exponential moving average. That's what I have going here. And because I'm on the free plan, I can't really change it. So I just have to stick with what I had when I was paying for this thing. So it's the EMA 200. So if it's just the MA, here, let me get into the settings and see if I can. MA style. Oh, you know what? I'm wrong. I've clicked the MA style. So I think it may. Let me just unclick that for a second. Okay, well, that totally got rid of the line altogether. So I guess that's not what I'm thinking it is. Inputs, 200, close. Yeah, so I think, this is the EMA. So, well, we can definitely see it's below. Let me zoom in a little bit just to get a closer look at what we're dealing with here. Okay, we've got to close that gap right there, people. Now, speaking of gaps, for those of you that do follow crypto at all. There's this YouTuber, Carl the Moon is the name of the channel. And
Okay, so I just clicked over to
yeah, what do you
technical
got?
indicators on the weekly
Okay.
on TradingView here. So what do we have? 200 EMA 58.79 and 200 simple moving average 55.03.
Okay, so let's go with the 5503. And this is exactly what I was talking about, Darth Yoda, that big nasty wick, right?
Yeah.
And about an hour ago, we had it. Man, we were there.
Yeah.
I was telling my wife, babe, we're all good. We're like a couple of hours from the close. We're like $400 above where we need to be. We're good. And look at us now.
Yeah.
Let me ask the well that's out there pushing this price around, that's painting this chart here over on the weekend with these shenanigans. Well, what are you trying to accomplish here? Are you just trying to make us all sweat? Or are you really going to try to break this price down to where Carl says that some people are saying there's a hidden gap on the CME?
Right. Way down in the,
Like,
what was it?
3,500?
3,500 or some.
Yeah,
Awful
3,570,
place.
I think is what he
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
But you know, he said that was on a, what was it, a 2-hour chart rather than a
Okay.
daily chart?
So
where,
some pretty short term.
yeah, it's not typical to judge based on a 2-hour chart. If you're going to be trading the CME gap, it's always on the daily. Like that's the only thing you're really caring about. And there is no gap down at 3,500 on the daily, so ignore that. Yeah, just ignore that. Go watch the video for fun and give him a thumbs up. Tell him we sent you. But yeah, no. What's going to happen here is we have how much time now? 46 minutes. We'll be checking back in on the Bitcoin chart here in a little bit, but let me go ahead and take control of this screen again. All right.
So the candle weekly ends at 5 Pacific time, not Eastern time.
I guess so.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I believe if you're like living around the world, you're looking at the Greenwich Mean.
Okay, so it's when Greenwich Mean Time flips over to tomorrow, basically.
Which would happen to be 5 o'clock Pacific. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, 8 o'clock Eastern. Wow. Okay. Anyway, sorry, man. That's the second time last time we were streaming. We got hit with this massive dump, like happening right in front of our faces, and here we go again. But I mean, this isn't massive. It's just enough to make us concerned.
Yeah.
As long-term hodlers, or is that hodler?
I always pronounce it hodler.
Hodler
I could
sounds
be wrong.
better, but hodler,
Yeah.
I think technically might be the right way to say it.
Yeah.
Hodl, like as hold, hodl. But hodl just sounds better to me. Sounds more alpha T.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like some words just sound more masculine the way you say it. It's like that company Viacom. Like in the beginning, they actually, I think it was technically Viacom or something. But Sumner Redstone had the instinct to know that that's like the soy way to say it. So he's like, no, it's Viacom when he bought it. Yeah. Anyway, man.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
we'll
let's take a look.
Keep an eye on this ugly candle as it develops or doesn't, as the case
Indeed,
may
we
be.
will. Yeah, let's at least stream until the close of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
In the meantime, maybe we can take a look at this. So do we want to look at the Hollywood Reporter article or the Federal Reserve Fox Business?
Oh, well, what's the Hollywood Reporter article?
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
What's
Well, basically, you remember in 2008 there was a writer's strike?
yeah.
And in Hollywood, it was the 1-2 boom, boom of number one, the recession coming in full swing with the housing bubble popping, and then boom, the writer's strike. And that really killed the economy in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Our restaurant has never been the same. Like, seriously, we just now this year finally started to get back to a place where we could say, okay, we're it's like if you're charting this, like 2008 and the writer's strike, like our restaurant's been on this downtrend, and then it kind of leveled out and bottomed out, and it's been on the climb. And then we finally got back, like we double topped, we finally got back to where we just barely almost, we're a little bit below, but we were getting back, and then coronavirus hit, and boom, we're like tumbling down to the point to where we're not even going to wait for the announcement and close this thing. So the 1-2 of the coronavirus plus the shutdown of Hollywood makes this 10 times worse than 2008 ever was for Hollywood. So if you're living in Hollywood, if you're within the sound of our voice, I'm so sorry to tell you this, but brace for impact.
Yeah.
Sounds like a movie.
Probably is.
We should make that movie. No, we can't. The coronavirus. Basically, this article, and let me switch back over to it. Still new to this live streaming, so sorry for the not so quick on the... Boom, there we are. You see that article now? And how's my voice? You're hearing me? I'm coming through loud and clear with the Yeti.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're not.
Oh, by the way, this is a full Yeti stream, isn't it?
Yeah.
Never said it, but let's just, just to make that clear. Okay. Hollywood could take a $20 billion hit from, we're just calling it what it is. Look, this the Tecate stream. We all know what we're talking about here. And I think YouTube's finally starting to let off. I don't know. YouTube can't make up its mind. It's like the algorithm's like, you can't say it. You can say it. You did say it. Oh, well, we'll let you say it. No, we won't. You're demonetized. We're not getting any money from this anyway, so we're just going to say whatever we want to say. It's the beer bug. So the beer bug is basically, first we heard James Bond was going to be postponing its release date, and then Mulan, the Disney production Mulan, is going to go on hiatus. And then basically it says right here, on March 12th, the London premiere of Mulan had just wrapped when the film's director, Nikki Caro, received the call everyone was anticipating. Executives in Los Angeles had made the decision to pull the Disney tentpole and were about to make the announcement, scuttling plans for a European junket that had just kicked off. The move didn't come as a surprise. After all, less than a day before, President Donald Trump announced a new ban on most travel from Europe, aimed at stopping the spread of the beer bug. That travel ban torpedoed any plans to promote the $200 million film in the lucrative European market. And with 70,000 theaters still scuttered in China and U.S. cinemas looking iffier by the minute, Disney had no alternative. By the way, have you guys taken a peek at movie stocks?
No. What's going on?
Well, the one that I keep a nice big bag of, it's not that big, but I have a big, nice sized bag of AMC Entertainment, which is the cinema
chain.
The cinema chain and the exhibitor of these films. Now, they're at the mercy of the movie producers. They don't write the films. They don't hire the actors. They have no say in the creativity or lack thereof, the political agendas or lack thereof, the brilliance or the sheer, stinkery of these movies. But they exhibit them, and their stock kind of moves accordingly based on how good these movies are performing. Well, it's been sliding, and we've watched over the last couple of years, basically since about the time of The Last Jedi until now. The stock slipped from $20 to, the last I checked, $2.95.
Oh, wow.
Indeed. Wow. And, my wife's just been buying it all the way, just lowering cost basis along the way. Yeah. Just loading up, man. She's a whale at this point. I think she could probably single-handedly move the price if she were to sell. And as an act of solidarity, I've been loading up too. Chasing, how do they say? Chasing bad money with
falling,
good.
Yeah. Trying to catch a falling knife.
Oh, well, it wasn't a falling knife. It was just kind of grinding downwards, and it would have its little moments and things. It actually bounced back to my cost basis at one point, so there was hope that, like, wow, man, maybe this will get going. But This has killed it. And I mean, not just this. It says here that, just kind of skimming through the article here. Yeah, MGM pushed the upcoming James Bond, No Time to Die out to November. And that's going to cost them 30 to 50 million. Yeah, A Quiet Place 2's abrupt cancellation 8 days before release will cost Paramount some $30 million. Yeah, basically everything that's film and television at this point is subject to cancellation or postponement.
This is at least as bad as the writer's strike.
Oh, way worse. Yeah, way worse. But I mean, this seems way worse to me at this point. It has yet to show if economically it's going to unfold as way worse. I mean, the stock market can't seem to make up its mind what it wants to do regarding CV and how it wants to move. We had ourselves a little bounce. Will it be a dead cat? Will we find continuation? Monday should be pretty exciting if you're into it.
Yeah, tomorrow should be hold on to your balls of steel for tomorrow.
Absolutely. And we already talked a little bit about the injection of funds from the Trump administration. Guess we got to give credit where credit's due. This is, all right, I recall back in 2008, the Obama administration injected $700 billion in the first quantitative easing. This first injection on this one is $1.5 trillion, which is a little more than double what the first QE Obama style was. Now, if you recall, the Obama QE had $2 trillion of unaccounted for funds that Bernie Sanders at the time raised an eyebrow or two about. You remember that?
Yeah.
It's like, where'd that money go? Can you account for it? And everyone's just looking at each other going like, well, I can't. Can you? No, I can't. Who? What about Bob? Timmy. It's Timmy's fault. It's all Ron Paul's fault. Yeah. Oh, we've lost Darth Yoda. He'll be back. Should I sing a song while we're waiting for him to join us once again? Let's check on Bitcoin. All right. We have 35 minutes left, and the price is 5,300. Okay. Add Darth Yoda back to the stream. Welcome back, my friend. We just checked on the Bitcoin price. It's 5,300 with 45 minutes left.
All right. So that's about where we have dropped back to after the wick up to 6,000. So it's not looking promising right now, but who knows? Maybe we'll have some epic last minute pump.
Well, maybe if it breaks structure and tumbles down to 3,000, Justice will finally buy some.
That's true. Hasn't what was his?
I know that joke's not so funny because it's so close to real at this point.
Yeah. Well, he had a number a while ago before we ran back up to 10,000, where he was saying that he would buy in, and I
6,
think it might have 6,000. Yeah. So he should be buying. Justice should be a whale at this point with all the buying that he should have done under 6,000.
Right. All of his limit buys should have been triggered at this point.
Yeah.
He should be sitting on a nice little stash, nice little bag at this point. I can't wait for him to join the party and hold a bag with all of us. Misery loves company.
Yes.
No, it's not that. It's not that. I want my friends, all of you, to be wealthy. Not just the friends here in Rep Freedom Force, but all of you friends out there listening, both live and on the replay. We want nothing but wealth and prosperity for all of you. Hopefully some of what you've heard here on these live streams are helping you to move at least directionally towards those aims, that life of abundance and so forth. If you were listening to this stream over a month ago, you would have heard right here on on these airwaves preparation tips and advice to not panic, but to calmly walk yourself into the store, keep your distance, get the things you need, and to calmly use the self-checkout and move your supplies out to your car, and do that as many times as you need to. Don't do it all at once. Don't wear a mask. Don't panic other people. Just calmly over the next couple of weeks do that. And that's what I did.
Prepare. Yeah.
And
wait, breaking. We have a breaking request from Land of 420 for you, Anarcho Jesus. Land of 420 would like you to sing a psalm.
I'd get a swig of this Tecate first. Any particular psalm?
I don't know. Just says psalm in general. And my journey through the Old Testament this year has not gotten up to the Psalms yet. So,
where are you on that, by the way? We'll come back to the psalm, but where are you on your...
Second Kings, so I'm in the full-on Game of Thrones part of the Bible right now.
Nice. Did you literally make it through Leviticus?
I did. I got through Leviticus. I didn't. I mean,
you read the words, or did you buy the audiobook to get through it?
No, there are parts that I probably skimmed, but I didn't literally fully skip anything. So
for shame.
Yeah,
you'll never make it to heaven that way.
Oh, if I don't literally go word for word. I mean, I've been close to word for word.
Well, that's close enough. That's good enough. My brother, as my brother would say, as my twin stepbrother would say, in those days, many will say to me, "Lord, Lord," and I'll say to them, "Good enough. Come on in."
Yeah, good enough. So I'm starting.
Well, that's what I would say. I don't know about him. Oh, actually, I think it said something else in the Bible. I should reread it too, man.
Yeah. So I started Second Kings today. So that's where I am, right at the beginning of Second Kings. So we're right in the midst of Jezebel and Elijah and the full on Game of Thrones type.
That is Game of Thrones. Yeah. Wow. I can't recall if there were dragons in the Old Testament or not.
I mean, there's Leviathan and.
That's right. There's in Genesis, right? There's the sons of
the Nephilim and
the Nephilim.
Yeah,
that's right. Okay.
Yeah,
and in Job, there's the Behemoth. I think that's what you were first referring to. Yeah, you're right. There's some cool stuff in the Old Testament.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so I'm just stalling at this point. I don't really know what song to sing.
you gotta sing a psalm.
Oh God, maybe I could just make one up. I don't have. You know what? I'm gonna do it, but I need to have a guitar or a lyre, right? A lyre. I need something with strings nearby, so whenever people request, then I can do this authentic, just the way we used to do it in the old school.
Yeah,
back in Jerusalem.
Old school, rocking for Jesus.
Way back in Jerusalem. I was trying to sing a psalm. Couldn't come up with the words. And then I anointed my friend Darth Yoda. Go.
Rockin' for Jesus. Yo.
That was awesome. Yeah. Is that good enough?
All right.
Was that good? We did a little freestyle there for you. Freestyle psalms. Modern way.
Yeah. Something like that.
and yes, reminder, this is National Prayer Day and all.
Yeah.
And that's right. It is National Prayer Day today. So in all seriousness, we ought to say a prayer for the people out there. And
especially since one thing I'm reminded of in my Old Testament reread project this year is that Anarcho Jesus, when your dad gets mad in the Old Testament, plagues and pandemics are some of his favorite things to throw at people. So
don't even remind me. I mean, I'm still in therapy.
Yeah.
I was pretty young back then, but I remember, dude, it was got rough. I mean, it was about that time that he kicked Lucifer out. And I mean, I knew at that point the writing was on the wall that I'd be getting that condo in Hollywood eventually.
Yeah.
Treatment. In my father's house are many mansions, at least so they tell me. But he put me in a condo years ago, so I don't know. But Jesus, my twin stepbrother, he has baller ass mansion. It's
I
you
bet.
can see it from you can see it from
Yeah, he's not in a manger anymore.
You'll see for yourself one day. All right. He's coming back. I can't wait too. It's going to be so sci-fi. You read Revelation, right?
Of course. Yeah.
It's a sci-fi movie.
Yeah. Right now I'm in the Game of Thrones part, but eventually I'll get to the sci-fi part of the Bible.
That's awesome. That's exactly right, my friend. You have something to look forward to. Right now, You're in the sand and sandals part of the story.
Yeah.
I always used to think of it as like Braveheart, but that was pre-Game of Thrones. Yeah, I think you're right. It's a totally Game of Thrones.
Oh, this stuff is much more brutal than Braveheart. I mean, this is full-on Game of Thrones.
You're right. You're right. Well, they upped the brutality on television with that show.
Yeah.
So they finally reached parity with the Old Testament on television.
Good point. Yeah.
Christian people used to complain about seeing rated R movies and things. And I'm like, you read the Old Testament, right?
Yeah. I'm like,
you're like,
nah,
skip that part.
Other than, the Sermon on the Mount, right?
They're like, nah, I don't really like that Leviticus. It's I'm more about a Paul,
Yeah.
More of a Paul kind of Christian.
Romans 13 Christian, right?
Yeah, right. I bet you're a good Romans 13 Christian, aren't you? Like to do everything your government tells you.
Yeah.
You heard that sermon too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh man. But let's say a prayer. Actually, I really appreciate the request. So we're coming at you, YouTube, with live prayer here on the internet. And so I'd like to first say, Father, sorry about the car, but that's for another time. That's not for the stream. But Father God, it's a rough time, and people really need your help. People really need your wisdom, and without it, I'm afraid, it's going to be another Sodom and Gomorrah situation, and we don't want to go there. We've all read about it, and I've seen it. It's not good. We don't want that. What we want is your mercy and your grace and your forgiveness. We beg for it. I beg for it every day. I hope you hear me. And I believe that, with your help, this could be learning experience for us all and something that makes us stronger. Just don't want to see humanity go down like this, not once again. Can we have the mercy? Can we have the ending of the story of Jonah rather than that of Sodom and Gomorrah? I recall with Sodom, Father, you were like, they're toast. There's no saving them. But there was a negotiation that happened where you were talked down from, if there were 50 righteous, maybe then would you spare it?
But then you got talked down to 40, to 30, to 20.
All the way down to what? Like 10?
Isn't it like 10? Maybe even 5?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, in that situation, they couldn't find it. So,
Yeah, so that was
fire and flames and nothing but, hellfire.
Yeah.
And but there was another story with Jonah, right? Nineveh, where once again, Father God was like, where's my belt? He's like, I've been watching Nineveh.
And I'm so over Nineveh. Like Nineveh's got
belt?
my wrath coming. Got my wrath coming like you wouldn't believe.
Hey, Jonah. You hear that? That's what I got for Nineveh. You better go tell them.
And
You
Jonah
better go
was
tell
like,
him right now.
Jonah was like, "Fuck, dude, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm going to Tarshish."
By the way, the prayer's over. I'm just we're going to continue with this.
Yeah.
But amen, amen, amen.
Amen,
on the
amen,
prayer.
amen. Yeah, amen,
But yeah,
Lord.
you know, he had a different result than the Sodom and Gomorrah situation. By the way, I
Yeah.
see 3 people watching live. Make sure to hit that thumbs up just to invite a few more people in the
Welcome.
algorithm.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so anyway, what was the result, Darth Yoda? Do you recall? You hadn't got to that part yet, have you?
No, I've read Jonah before, but no, on this reread, I've got a ways to go before I get to.
But you recall
Get
from
to
your
that.
previous read. Yeah, so how'd that go
yeah.
down? I mean, he was dead set. Nineveh is toast.
Yeah.
He had his belt in his hand.
But
He's like,
after all that, after Jonah finally gets there, Nineveh repents, and God is like, "Whoa, okay, Nineveh, we're cool now. We're cool now."
that's right.
But
We're
then
cool now.
the weird ending of it is like Jonah is like actually pretty pissed at the end. He's like, "Dude, God, like, why are you forgiving these people?" And God's like, "What? Because I can."
That is so beautiful, man. Huh. You know, when I read Revelation, it starts to look a little bit like what we're seeing unfold right in front of us right now. And I think about the story of Nineveh versus Sodom and Gomorrah.
Mm-hmm.
I also think about verses in the Old Testament, prophetic verses, where it says one day the lion would lay with the lamb. And that one day they will convert their plowshares. They will convert their swords into plowshares. They will transform their destructive weapons of war into productive instruments of peace and productivity.
Yeah, that's why one of Ron Paul's books, just a couple of years ago, is a little book he did on foreign policy specifically. I think it's called "Swords into Plowshares" or something like that, isn't it?
Really?
Yeah.
I missed that. Oh wow, that's I think about that quite a bit, and
Yeah.
I see what's happening now, and I wonder to myself, like, is this going to be the Revelation unfolding scenario, or is there a possibility that even what is painted in the Revelation with 1/3 of humanity being wiped out, could that also be forgiven? Now, listen, we're talking about Revelation here, people. All right, we're not talking about your eternal soul and forgiveness and redemption and these things. Okay, this is up for debate. This isn't something that is very important to your overall spiritual well-being. But these things are something that should be considered because people get very dogmatic the way they read Revelation.
Yeah, there's very dogmatic, literal readings of it. Unfortunately, yeah, some of those literal readings of it tend to infect Republican politics, and you get this and it becomes like a justification for war in the Middle East.
Yes, it has for the neocons.
Yeah.
And this was something Ron Paul talked about quite a bit. I'm sure in the booklet you mentioned probably gets into that. Yeah. And he had another book, by the way, was on foreign policy. It was called it was the brown cover. The sorry. He's had several great books. In the Fed, The Revolution, and then dating back a little bit further than that one is the. Oh man, don't make me pull it up. It's the policy of foreign policy, a foreign policy of peace.
Yeah.
There it is. Thank you, Lord. Whispered that into my ear. All right, yeah, Foreign Policy of Peace. So definitely check those books out. All of those, yeah, great books by Ron Paul. Ron Paul is a great man, still with us. It's been a little bit more quiet, but we've seen him on YouTube.
Yeah, he's on YouTube. He has his podcast every day with Daniel McAdams.
Okay.
That's usually a good one.
Okay. They don't talk about him on Lou Rockwell as much as they used to.
They do. LRC will repost articles that he has or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, so you can still find
So
what
you can
Ron
still
Paul's
find,
talking about.
yeah, you can find the Ron Paul Liberty Report out on wherever you get your podcasts from on a daily basis.
That's right. Wherever you get your podcasts, it's the Liberty Report, daily basis, and definitely check out the LouRockwell.com, which is a blog that posts libertarian articles, opinions, some libertarian stuff as well.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think you tend to disapprove of their what's the car guy that they always repost on there? Eric Peters, who
He hates Tesla.
Hates Tesla.
Right. Him and I was really a big fan of and used to subscribe to Doug Casey. Sorry, you hear me tapping my beer. I'm not going to turn the water into Tecate this time. I'm just going to crack this sucker.
Gonna crack open a new Tecate without doing the miracle version.
Yeah. The miracle is I have Tecate during this thing.
Yes.
Hope you've all stocked up, not just on Tecate, but water and hand sanitizer and
toilet paper.
Toilet paper. Oh, I guess that's a good transition into the next. Let's take a look at the memes. I mean, I have a couple of memes here.
Yeah, meme review.
Let's see if we can do this. I'm gonna. So there we go. It's the Mirror of Infinity. I just need to pull open my downloads folder because I have them all the memes from today. This is hot off the press. Here we go. This one is
hot off the press, the hottest memes of today.
That's right.
Up to date here.
Let me see if I open with. Oh, I got it. I know what I can do. Sorry. We're just going to open them all in preview. Is what we'll do. This is the Macintosh. I feel like I'm giving a tutorial about Macintosh at the moment. Where's preview? I have it somewhere down here in the dock. No, I don't. That's embarrassing. Okay. We'll just go through them one at a time. Oh, crap. My Finder disappeared. Yeah. Here we go. All right, there. Let's just do it this way. So, coronavirus is the T-800. And the crying anime girl is...
You're scared bitch ass with all the toilet paper.
And, all right. This was the attitude, though, that kind of kept people from getting supplies in the first place. So as funny as it is now, it's getting less funny with each passing day that you wished you had something. Here's another one. This is one sent, I think, by you.
Yes.
The World Right Now, the memesters.
Yeah.
Is this looking okay? Can you see it? All right.
I can, yeah.
All right, here we go. Yeah, I love this one. This
is a good one.
Me explaining to my grandchildren how a guy eating bat soup in China led to a toilet paper shortage in the United States. That's awesome. Can we go full screen? No. Okay, well, I tried. All right, is that it? No, there's one more. Right. There's one more. Okay, downloads. Come back. I've ruined it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Here's one we were considering putting in the restaurant window. It says, due to the recent outbreak of stupidity and panic purchasing by complete idiots, the nation is currently experiencing a shortage of toilet paper and common sense. We expect supplies to be replenished once these sheep-minded morons have all starved to death in their homes, surrounded by toilet paper, but without anything to eat. Thank you for your patience.
So how are things at the restaurant the last few days?
Bad. Slow, man. Slow. I mean, and it's going to continue to be slow. And basically, until the government tells us to shut down, we're just taking it one day at a time, counting receipts and adding up our totals. And if it's no longer profitable, we're not waiting for that memo.
Yeah.
So it's a free market thing at this point.
Yeah.
Whenever the customers have decided to stay home and not order via Uber Eats enough that it's no longer makes mathematical sense, then we're closing. I think I just said that. Sorry.
No,
Repetitive and redundant.
Repetitive, but yeah, but it makes sense.
Yeah, and the memes, they're great. It's just they get less funny with each and every passing day, some of them. They're not aging well, as people are actually sitting there going like, well, I really shouldn't have thrown that corn cob out last week.
This is one of those times, though, where if you're a particular personality type, and I think I kind of have this personality, dark humor is part of what gets you through it. So,
all right. Well, in that case, we will be unapologetic about it, and we're going to have the meme segment every single time we go live. So
yes,
I'm going to be
absolutely.
collecting them. Say, and what else is going on? Oh, holy crap! Has it closed? Let's check. What's going on?
No,
we have 12 minutes.
13 minutes. We're still just
sorry. I don't mean to be freaking out on you people like this on the live stream, but
we're still sort of sputtering along here. We need a little miracle pump here in the next.
So let me pull it back
minutes.
up. What we're looking at right here is the weekly chart of Bitcoin, and this candle is the weekly candle. This RSI levels. That's the relative strength index indicator, which is about to go into oversold territory on the weekly chart. Apparently, it probably was in oversold territory, but since we're on the weekly, it's pulled back into this neutral area. But you can see this big, long, nasty wick, and that's the one I was predicting. But this wick needs to be a little bit higher. We're not quite there yet. Actually, my EMA is the wrong EMA, right? This needs to be a little bit lower if we were just looking at the regular moving average. Is that what we concluded?
Yeah.
5,500?
The EMA was like 5,800. The regular 200 moving average was 5,500-ish. Let me go look again.
Yeah. You take a look on yours. Maybe there's a way we could share yours. We've never tried before. Do you have a screen share button?
Where'd it go? I mean, I'm sure I do. Like if you pull it out of the actual chart and click on the technicals tab, you can just scroll down and look at them. Outside of having an actual chart. Oh wait, why does that look weird? Oh, duh, because I'm on the daily here. All right, let's move over to the weekly.
Oh, we have eWeezy on my chat, on my messages asking if we're live streaming. I'll ask if he wants to join.
Yeah. So the 200 EMA 5880.04, simple moving average 200 5503.85.
I'm sorry, say again. One more time.
200 EMA is 5880.
Okay, 5880. Okay, yeah. We're definitely not going to be there.
Yeah, 200 simple moving average 5503.85.
5503. Okay, so we're just going to say 5500 with the simple moving average, which would be, let me just draw a line so we have a visual reference at least. Are you guys seeing this? Am I shared? Add to stream. Okay, let's share again.
No.
How about now? Okay.
Land of 420 is still with us and would like to know if we want to stay small or grow in popularity. So yes, our plan is to grow in popularity. Honestly, Land of 420, we are kind of you're coming in here at sort of like a still trial run mode. We're kind of shooting the shit just for fun to like work the kinks out. But ultimately, yes, the goal is to grow in popularity once we're kind of doing this a little more for real, once we have a few of these practice sessions under our belt some more.
Stick around to the end. And basically, this candle closes in 8 minutes, 47 seconds. So I'm not sure how much longer we'll stream beyond that. We definitely have a few things more to talk about, but still hang in here with us because I have some future content that I'm working on. I'll give a little preview.
Yeah.
But look how close this is.
We're getting there. We're over 5,400 now. So
We need to cross this line in the next 8 minutes, basically, to not break structure of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And by breaking structure, I mean do something that is never done before, that's unprecedented, that could cause panic beyond coronavirus panic and cause the price to continue to tumble further southward. Hey, you know, that's an opportunity for some people. But the thing about it, human nature, it's so weird. It's like Justice, who said, yeah, I'll have my limits set to pick some up at 6,000. Well, here we are at 5,400. And he's like,
no sign of justice, and
doesn't look so good anymore.
Justice is Bitcoin. So
I'm going to check this and see if Eweezy has joined us in the stream just yet. No, he hasn't. Not just yet.
But I mean, that kind of what you're mentioning, the psychology of it is a big part of why technical analysis works. I mean, TA is not, you know, astrology or something purporting to actually definitively make like unalterable predictions or something. It's all just social psychology when you think about it. That's why TA works.
I'm going to just show this for the entire audience to take a look. Landed 420, just giving a shout out to his channel, and we'll do so as well. Check out the videos on the Land of 420. All of the world's a stage. An amazing draft protests. Fake Arab Spring. Oh, wow. You know, we had an Arab Spring video too. You remember that one?
Yeah.
It was at the time we were like hoping that Egypt would go kind of anarchist, libertarian.
Well, my recollection is like I found it interesting as a case study of the collapse of a government, and then you know, how did like local neighborhoods and communities cope with that? And I was interested to see like when the Egyptian cops like basically melted away for a few days when the government collapsed in 2011, the way that local people in their communities were dealing with crime and, you know, kind of grassroots, stateless approaches to law enforcement. So that's always an interesting thing to see. You know, unfortunately, it didn't last more than a couple of days. And, you know, now Egypt basically has the same government again that they had before the Arab Spring, just with different figureheads. But,
well, I remember at that time, people showed up in the streets with clubs and crowbars and pistols and basically whatever they had, and were enacting law and order themselves. And there was a type of spontaneous order about it.
Yeah.
And at the time, as Ron Paul or libertarians on the path to anarchy, we were looking at that saying, how amazing is this? This is a real example of spontaneous order. Unfortunately, as time has gone on, as you were just saying, sorry, I'm throwing kimchi around. As you were saying, we've seen that the entire thing eventually was co-opted and turned into something that was your same old typical, hey, never let a crisis go to waste, and let's gain as much state power as possible through this thing. Unfortunately, that's what it turned out. But we were hoping. There's actually a video on our channel. You can check it out about that. For sure. And we have a lot of great old videos on our channel. I mean, it's nothing that's going to tickle the balls of the algorithm, but it's stuff as a Ron Pauler you would appreciate, some early viral videos. And are epic.
You know, just to briefly kind of conclude our quick Egypt discussion there is something to be said from learning what the collapse of a state looks like, even if the aftermath of it ends up not being libertarian or classical liberal or ANCAP or whatever you want to call it. Just the collapse in and of itself sometimes is worth studying and learning from that, even if what comes next, you know, is not what you want. So,
amen.
Yeah, it was kind of off the top of my head, but
well, I like watching Star Wars
made
for
sense.
For those kind of analogies.
You know? Yeah.
Well, there was a time that Star Wars.
Well, that was part of the disappointment of the prequels, because on paper the prequels tell a compelling story,
right,
telling a compelling political story, not of state collapse, but of
Right.
of a republic
it's
being turned
the
into an
opposite.
empire.
Right. Exactly.
But
The fall
unfortunately,
of a republic. Is
yeah,
what
fall
the
of a
prequels were all
republic
about.
and birth of an empire.
Exactly.
But, and those came out during the years of the Bush regime. So, it's very relevant.
It was relevant, but never specific.
But unfortunately, as we all know, that was just marred by horrible writing. So what is a good story on paper is just, not particularly memorable movies because of terrible dialogue and so on that we all know about.
I think it was great.
Yeah. All right, we've got 3 minutes till close here, so we need a miracle. I'm gonna go grab a second beer. I know you did, so I'm gonna go.
We need a miracle.
Get another
We're
one.
2.5 minutes away from close. Go
So
get
we
that
need a
beer, my
miracle
friend.
here.
Yeah. You go.
All right.
Go,
Be right back.
Do what you need to do. All right. Well, look at this. We're falling. That's not supposed to happen. I'm going to zoom in to a 4-hour chart because that seems to be a very relevant chart here in the crypto game. Wow. Okay. So we dumped down to 3,900 and then back up to 59, basically 6,000, and then down and made a higher low of 4,700, and then back up and made a lower high, this equilibrium pattern, this lower high of 5,700, and then back down making a higher low. Here, let me get my crosshairs up so you can actually see the price of 5,000 basically. Then we went up here and made another lower high of 5,600, and then back down, made a higher low of 5,100, and then boom, breakout. We were good. Everything was great. But actually, if you look back, I'm just breaking down this equilibrium pattern on a 4-hour chart.
Okay.
So we have our green line right here. That's the line. Look, you can see how close we are.
Mm-hmm.
$5,388, basically $5,400 right now. We need to get up another $100, just another 100.
2 minutes, but
another $125 in the next 2 minutes is all we need. I'm sorry, it's not even 2 minutes now. It's 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we get a whale? Can we get a whale up in here in the next 35 seconds to push this price up?
Come on, whale.
All right, I'm going to drop this down to low time frames. We're going to the 5-minute chart. Fit. Okay. Here's the thing. Look how close we are. This could happen right now. 15 seconds. Come on, sharks. Come on, whales. 10 seconds. 9, 8. Where's that miracle? Father God, give me a miracle.
Nope.
3, 2, 1.
Nope.
Hold on, let me reload my page. Maybe it happened and I'm lagging. Maybe I'm lagging. Yes. No, stay on page. I got to save it first. Okay, there we go. We're reloading data.
And no miracles today.
So what happens now?
What happens now is
some people might argue that this is
hold on to your ass tomorrow.
Look, let me zoom out for a second here. Let me just zoom out for a second here. Go back to the 4-hour chart. Look, that is within. Is there a margin here? All right, look, listen to me starting to justify, trying to make excuses for Bitcoin. Look, the bulls didn't prove anything here today. Sorry. The bulls are behind the barn and they're dead right now is what it looks like, because I'm sitting here going like, hey, where's my whale? Where's my miracle? And those guys just sat on the sideline. They're like, hey, our powder's fine. We're good. We're dry.
Yeah.
We'll see you at 3,000. And we're sitting here going like, you mother.
The bears are mauling people like no bears have done since the ones Elijah called out to devour the kids who called him bald. Since I think that story is coming up soon in my Game of Thrones
Yeah. Oh my
trip through the
God.
Old Testament
In both crypto and in traditional
and in
financial
mainstream markets
markets,
too. Even in gold, fuck.
investors are getting mauled like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant.
Yeah, yeah.
They're getting tossed like. Man, that movie was way overrated, but there was this one moment that still sticks with me. It was
Oh yeah,
where
that's all about Leonardo DiCaprio versus a bear.
oh, but he's such a great actor, you can't deny
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But there was that one moment where he's so mauled and he can't even talk, and the other character, his antagonist, played by the other actor, he says to him like, "All right, if you want me to kill that guy, blink." And then he sits there and stares at him because naturally, eventually, he's going to blink, but he can't talk. So instead of blinking, he just like slowly closes his eyes. But then he took it as like, okay, you blinked, I'm going to go kill him. And yeah, anyway, it was a subtle thing, but I thought that was powerful.
Yeah.
Powerful. Movies are powerful. They can touch you. They can. Let me switch back. I don't want to see this massacre anymore. Let's.
Yeah,
switch
we're already
back.
It looks like we're already the second the weekly close. Look at that.
I know. Do you
We're
see it
already,
falling? Do you see it?
Yeah,
I saw it.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it. It's back to the weekly, just to see it for ourselves on a weekly scale.
Look at that. Look at that. The new weekly starting out. Wow. Hold on to your ass tomorrow. That's all I gotta say. It's gonna get bad.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, look at
There
that.
it is. Look, the new candle has started to form. And as Darth Yoda said, well, it's something that my stepdad was sorry, man, I don't know how personal we should get on these streams. Like I don't want to dox myself fully or anything,
Yeah.
but that's you heard it here first. Jesus has a stepdad. Didn't mean to bring that up, but his name's Bob. And so my stepdad, Bob, who was in the Air Force, used to say, in a situation like coronavirus and what you see in the markets today, there's only really one thing that you should do. And this is the way that you do it. You got to put your head between your legs, like really like as far as you can if you want to survive. I mean, he's a Cold War era guy, so I'm not sure how relevant this is today, but put your head as far between your legs as you possibly can. And when you've gotten as far as you can, go farther, because you really got to get so far that your lips can touch your gluteus maximus, because what you need to do is kiss your ass goodbye. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Oh, so I guess we're heading down to that CME gap that
We're
she said
headed
might be
down.
Yeah.
I hope not. That's a hidden gap. That thing's not relevant. I don't know. Look, we have a long way to go before we can get to the bottom of this wick. Well, I'm seeing this weekly chart paint itself right in front of my face like nothing.
So when I look at
Let's
the
see here.
weekly fibs according to TradingView,
We have 22% to drop before we make a lower low.
the next
But we
fib
got a whole
down-
week to do it.
The next fib down apparently is 41.53. So we bounced off of that, but then you're heading down to 1661 is the next Fibonacci support, at least according to what I'm looking at on TradingView on the weekly.
Well, hell, if you're getting to 1600, you might as well go on ahead and hit Tom Veza's 1300.
Yeah, seriously.
And if you're going to hit Tom Veza's 1300, well, then RIP, you might as well hit Tyler Jenks 1000 hyperwave target.
Yeah, and then what? Orlando 420 tells us that the Dem debate is on now. So, yeah,
Who's winning? Let's can we get a live update?
yeah. So Biden versus Sanders tonight. So
I guess it's going to be Sanders. Sorry. What am I saying? Oh God, there was all the people listening to the replay right now are going like, wow. No, I'm sorry. I misspoke. Didn't mean to get you excited, Bernie bros. But Biden, I had a Biden moment there myself, in fact.
Yeah.
Just then. And man, I mean, it's weekend at Biden's. It's crazy. It should have been weekend at Bernie's, but literally they've got themselves a corpse propped up. I mean, this guy he doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know what day it is. He doesn't know where he is.
I don't know if the thing is, if he does have...
He has his moments, man. Don't tell me. There are moments where he's on that stage even where he's like...
Yeah, absolutely.
Who am I again?
But he has had his good days.
Yeah.
So if he does have dementia, it's early enough in it that
but his judgment is so... His judgment is so poor that on his good days, he starts talking about kids playing with the hair on his legs.
Yeah, that's true. Or he, looks like he's about to smack some...
and I got to tell you, I love children on my lap.
Oh,
I mean, quote, Joe Biden.
It's like, I mean, come on, Democrats. This is really what you're going to send out there. Man.
I just registered as a Democrat, and this is what you're giving me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Jesus registered as a Democrat. This is news, but I had to because I work in Hollywood. And anyway, I haven't been working lately, and I realized I put two and two together. We'll leave it at that. But I'm already thinking about quitting the party because just look at it. It's in shambles. Like, the best they have to offer us is like 2 pegs below Hillary Clinton already.
I hope Bernie kicks his ass in the debate tonight.
Me too.
Not like I'm a Bernie bro by any stretch of the imagination, but I just like with Trump, I have mixed feelings about Bernie for some of the same reasons that I do about Trump. I do not have mixed feelings about the Bidens and the Clintons of the world. It's absolute just sheer evil among establishment Democrats. Bernie might be wrong about many things, but I at least know that he genuinely believes them. And on his good days, there's obviously crossover between Bernie and libertarians on some aspects of foreign policy. I think at some point he may have co-sponsored one of the Audit the Fed bills, at least the House version. Don't quote me on that, but I seem to recall that. So this is not like some huge defense of Bernie, but I'm just saying relative to the Joe Bidens of the world, I have more more patience for Bernie than I do with whoever the DNC is trying to push out there on us.
Yeah, respect.
Yeah.
Land of 420 says that there's a Biden gaffe incoming like a Scud missile and about as predictable, and that's the reason he's watching. It's like, you just don't know where it's going to land or when, but it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear it screaming already.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's great, man. Let me take a look here. Oh, Center of Disease Control. Should we check their website? Everyone can look at that. Everyone should be looking at that from time to time. How to protect yourself. There's Small Business Association loans available now.
Yeah.
Part of the quantitative easing, I'm sure, but it's to the tune of $50 billion. And if you're a small business owner and you need some assistance during this time to make payroll, and if, and this is the other if in the small print, if you commit to continuing to make payroll through this, then you can have a really low interest. Not low enough, though, honestly, because I'm looking at it right now on the website, like 3.75%. Come on, you can do better than that. They're talking about negative interest rates.
So much for the 0.25% interest rate. That's not for us.
Well,
believe me.
To be fair, that article from Fox Business that I don't think we've looked at just yet said that they did just cut rates, right? Over the weekend. again.
Yeah.
And
So,
so maybe
so the idea is like, yeah, that will affect consumer rates to some degree, but
to some
obviously
degree,
these
right?
these 0% interest rates are basically that's that's the Fed lending window for overnight lending
Ooh.
window for the banksters.
Well, here's a little bit from that article. I guess I could pull it up here. Let me share
Yeah,
screen.
Land of 420. We're big Tulsi fans here too, and it's a travesty that they never let her have a chance.
Fan of her booty. That goes out to Scott Adams. Sorry, little inside joke.
Yeah.
Says here the coronavirus outbreak has harmed communities and disrupted economic activity in many countries, including the United States. So, by the way, over in Italy, what they announced and did was what we're doing now. I can't remember what it is. Crap. But the good part is the next thing that Italy did was they put mortgages on pause. Mm-hmm. So if you're paying a mortgage, that's what they did over in Italy. We've already done the first thing that Italy did. And so there could be a mortgage pause coming up. I mean, take it with a grain of salt and as a rumor, totally coming from tonight's stream. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, because I couldn't catch a break in the last couple of years. I mean, not with my Bitcoin, not with my Tesla. Mm-hmm. Catching a break now with the Tesla. Everything's good there. Oh, it may get down to your 420 target, though. Do you have your limit set to buy at 420 Tesla?
Yeah, How's Tesla been doing after hours this weekend? Any?
It gets like 550 or 525. I mean, it's getting close to 400. So, yeah, you set your limits, people.
534 right now.
534. Okay, so
yeah.
I mean, look, take it for what it's worth. It's not investment advice, but fate has a sense of irony. And when Elon put that 420 out there in the universe, I think the universe is laughing, and it's going to bring that price right back down to 420 one more time just to have a good chuckle.
That'll be its support, Tesla's ultimate support.
Albeit support, right? And then to infinity and beyond from there. Yeah. ARK Invest has their most bullish target at 15,000 per share, but I'm sure the stock has long split before we ever see those kind of actual fiat dollar prices.
Yeah.
So you'll never actually see that. But yeah, in terms of actual value, the company will have reached that like $1.5 trillion valuation that it would require to reach that sort of stock price. And my libertarian friends that hate Tesla who are listening at the moment are probably saying to themselves and yelling at the screen right now, like, he's a scammer. A charlatan, a con man. And he said, you can drive this scam. And he was right about that because I own one and it's an amazing machine. Not a scam. Anyway, buy your shares if you ever see Tesla back at 420. Load the boat because I doubt that that's going to be a price that you see for very long and ever again, basically.
Yeah. Well, that implies that you're hoping that the market will, in general, rebound.
Well, we still have a ways to go before we get to 420.
Yeah.
Over $100 still. And so if we were to get to 420, that in and of itself would imply that the market really has gotten much worse from now. And the way I'm seeing things, we're just at the beginning. So it could get to 420 very, very realistically. Where could the price of Disney go? Because it's already dropped down to, I believe it touched like $89 or something. $90.
That's right. Yeah. During whatever day the just bottom fell out, Thursday or Friday. The low was like 89. I think ended up closing Friday at like 90 something. So
okay.
Let's see, what is it after hours of the weekend now? Disney 101.50 right now.
101.50. Okay, so it's having a good little bounce. Hopefully that bounce will continue. Like I told you, I've flipped on my short thesis with Disney and went ahead and bought back in and it's got a nice little bounce from where I bought. If that bounce continues, I don't know. I may have to just sell those shares and wait, because I have the sense that the dead cat bounce isn't quite over yet, and it's not a sense. I mean, does it take a real article to say that? I mean, I'm surprised that people are still buying. It's amazing to me. But anyway, continue doing that, please. I want you to continue. Yeah, it's a good time to buy. Go buy some stocks, people, not advice. Buy Disney. But I'm thinking, yeah, maybe I should sell what I bought and get ready for, just holding tight for look out below. And I'm thinking, man, it could get down into like the 70s, which is like rolling it back to like 1990s prices.
Yeah, God. I'm kind of looking out on the Disney charts here, and
yeah, what are you seeing? I haven't looked at the long. Usually these charts only show you like 5 years. Some of them.
Yeah, I'm as far
Robinhood chart.
Let's see. Oh, I can do 10 years on my phone here. Okay, so we're not going quite back to the 90s, but 10 years ago. I have to kind of guesstimate just by looking at the chart, but we're now at lows where we haven't been at probably since 2016 was the last time it was getting down into the 90s.
And I know what that feels like, because my Tesla investment dropped to 5-year lows.
Yeah.
So I definitely know what it feels like to have your investment drop to like 5-year lows. I mean, it's something that you don't really expect to happen, especially if you've chosen companies that you feel are strong and have a lot of potential to grow in the future and are bringing a viable product that people want and changing the world and that sort of thing. So to sit there and watch Tesla's stock price drop like it did from around $400 all the way back to $150, like that was rough. And it wasn't me just watching it either. I mean, I was participating in that, getting wrecked all along the way, playing like a bull, because I just never had the exposure with Tesla in a bear market. And I learned some hard lessons, but fortunately got back in. So I wasn't left on the sideline for this giant run up to $1,000 that we experienced.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels good when your favorite stock runs up to $1,000 from $150.
Absolutely.
Right after you bought it. Yes. And checking back with the chat, Landed 420 says, yes, gentlemen, use 4.2x for prosperity. Yes, indeed. I was... I guess I am still a little bit invested in the MJ sector. I have some CGC long contracts, like 2 years out, that I bought when things got really crazy last week. So, that could produce something for me there. But let's see, 420 is a most powerful number.
I've got nothing right now. Potcoin used to be one of the easiest.
Potcoin.
Well, it used to be one of the easiest, stupid little trades in crypto.
It would shout out in the chat for Potcoin.
Yeah, Potcoin would run up every year right around this time. It would run up into the lead for 420. So all you had to do is buy Potcoin in February, sell it in April.
This is Dennis Rodman's favorite crypto, correct?
Yes, and anytime you heard that Dennis Rodman was going to go to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, buy some Potcoin, because he would love to wear Potcoin shirts when he was hanging with his homie Kim Jong-un.
Right, and it would get on TV, which would cause a pump.
Yeah, but
that is awesome. And there's some Ron Paul coin out there somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah, with probably some ridiculous low volume, but I think, Ron Paul coin technically still exists.
Man, I just really wish we would have learned more about crypto in those early days.
Yeah.
In early days, I'm talking like 2009. Early days. We heard about it. We even promoted it, I think, in our meetups. We used to host a meetup, a Ron Paul Libertarian meetup on a monthly basis in Hollywood. And we did that for years. Like there was the 2008 campaign, and then we continued all the way through to the 2012 campaign, and then we continued doing it through the 2012 campaign. And then there was a small core group of us, that's basically us, the Rep Freedom Force, that would meet on a weekly basis every Friday. And, it's mostly for socializing and just shooting the shit and talking about all these kind of conversations that you're hearing us bring to the live stream tonight. These and many others we'll get into. But definitely thank you for joining us tonight, and want to remind you to hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, share the streams with your friends so that they can also join you in the fun participating in the chat. And not that we're ending right now. I just want to take a look at my my show notes. I mean, oh yeah, that's right. We're going to do a preview of things to come. Thank you for waiting. I think you're still waiting for that. I promised. Okay, let me not be that guy that doesn't give you what he promised. I think what I need to do here is I have to give me just 1 second. I need to change a setting on my computer so you can hear this as well. I've tested this. This should work. Okay, so what I need to do is for audio output, I'm going to unplug my head. Okay. Can you still hear me?
I can, yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Now let me see if I can pull this up. Oh yeah, there it is. Bang. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Oh wait, we were doing, okay, screen share. Here we go. Sorry, there's noob mistakes happening behind the scenes right now in the backstage as I'm like fumbling through the StreamYard settings. Okay, I don't want permanent access. That's all good. Yes, good. Entire screen. Allow. Okay, we're good.
There we are. Now you're full screen.
Boom. Okay, I'm going to put the Yeti down next to the speakers. Hit some volume. Here's a little preview.
Unhappiness and despair, the bloody stuff is everywhere. If we look over here, there's some despair. Look over there. I've got more cares. Get your motor rampage mask on my damn face.
Y'all can hear that?
Mm-hmm. I forgot
so this is going to be like
I
a
forgot
remix,
you did that.
Of a song. Yeah, and using this Russell Brand, this Russell Brand sample from one of his podcasts, and this is how it's starting out. But I'm going to add a lot of other, footage from actual Brexit stuff going on. What you're just hearing is the audio, basically, and seeing Russell Brand on the remix. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I forgot that you did that. I haven't seen this one in a while, but yeah, I know this has been in the works.
Something, man. That second drop, though. I gotta, just for the people that waited for it.
Yeah, I'm not a dubstep connoisseur, so I don't know how this stands up artistically. If this was black metal Brexit, I could provide a more coherent and informed opinion.
Black Pill Brexit. I like the name.
No. Black metal Brexit.
Oh, black metal Brexit.
Yeah.
So
dubstep Brexit, okay, is this all right? Well, it's DJ Cruz, so by definition, it's good dubstep.
Well, this is more bass house, but yeah, bass house is dubstep, highly dubstep influenced. But then we're breaking into the minutia of genres.
Bass house is came out of dubstep.
Well, not precisely just from dubstep, but it was a fusion of dubstep producers who began to make house music, and the style kind of that DJ Shadow future bass,
okay.
but it became its own thing. And the sound was more from like the very popular dubstep sound design, which was new to house music. And it became bass house because dubstep was really famous for layering bass on top of bass on top of bass. You know, it's just you never could get enough bass in your face with the old school dubstep. And the I guess the spiritual successor to dubstep would be bass house today, which is what I tend to play a lot of. And yeah, this remix is total. Let's hear this second drop. All right, yeah, that's enough of the preview. I got to get this video finished. Get that posted on there. All right. Anything you're reading, Darth Yoda? What are you were rereading the game? Is that right?
Oh, right. Yeah. That was a project of mine and Justice. We were both doing a reread of that. We'll save that for another time.
Yeah, definitely. We need to get Justice in here for that conversation, I think.
Yeah.
And for the Land of 420 says, I'll support your show forever. Man, dude, that is some high praise coming from someone who is building something on YouTube themselves. Really, really super appreciate that. And thank you very much, too. We'll check out your channel and subscribe to you right now. In fact, I think I can. Yeah, we got you, man. We got you. In fact, I have a few sock accounts, so get ready for a bunch of new subscribers. So
nice.
Coming your way.
Even
so really,
Dubstep Dinosaur will be subscribing.
That's one of them. That's right. And Ancient Wisdoms. Did we have a moment of wisdom tonight?
Oh, do we? Yeah, usually moments of wisdoms go along with the ancient wisdoms. And since we were
turning
water into beer tonight, I don't know what the beer equivalent would be.
Right. But I've got to add that to our weekly show notes. Like we've got to look for that moment of wisdom. We always could find a moment of wisdom every Friday we'd come together.
Yeah.
But that may, as you said, we may have to add some wisdoms to the stream. We'll have in the future. Well, since we're going to be quarantined for Father God knows how long, we may be doing these live streams a little bit more often than just weekly. In fact, we've done several this past week, which none of you have seen or heard probably, but they're available there for the replay. I know it's killing our analytics on the algorithm by leaving that stuff, but this is what we're going to do for now because this is what we can do. When I start dropping more content like the stuff I previewed for you in the coming weeks, I might get a little more serious about how our approach and how we interact with the algorithm, which may require us to start a new channel, a Free Hollywood Live channel where we can take the content from our live streams and put it over there and separate it from the kind of content that we like to post to Rep Freedom Force, which is more like libertarian PSAs and activism stuff. But we haven't been so activist as much, and we're probably not going to be until Rand Paul 2024. That wasn't like a very enthusiastic amen.
Amen, brother. No, a lot can happen from now to 2024. I mean, I hope a lot good, but the 20s aren't starting out too wonderfully so far. So we'll see. We'll see how things look in 2024.
Well, I hope that we're you two, Gold. Man, that's really cool, man. Thank you so very much for saying so. I feel like we're just stumbling through and figuring out this software this StreamYard, and but yeah, it's actually really kind of fun. When we used to post to YouTube on a regular basis, live streaming really wasn't available. We used to try to live stream our monthly meetups, our Hollywood Ron Paul meetup, and at that time there was a live streaming third party app. It was called. Well, there were several of them, but none of them really worked. This is the problem. So I don't need to remember them.
It was a different time back then. 2011 or 12.
Right. Even 2010.
Yeah.
You know, I think we were trying it even that early.
Yeah.
And
so we were ahead of our time. But
maybe so. I'd like
that. Yeah.
Like to think so. I don't know. Yeah, we were trying to do things that are now super easy to do. So, but we don't meet up on a weekly basis anymore, unfortunately. At least not face to face. But that's because we're quarantined.
Yeah, we're quarantined, and we're kind of scattered about right now.
So this live stream is the perfect. This is like the perfect weekly meetup, and we can invite all of the people that used to come to our meetups, like those actual people. Maybe I'll actually let them know that we're doing this. I don't think we've told anybody about
the return of Monkey Wrench.
Oh man, if he ever comes on the live stream, I'm gonna have the song queued up and ready to go. Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me.
Oh, I thought you meant the Foo Fighters song Monkey Wrench, but yeah.
How does that one go?
I don't know.
That must be some
I'm
90s.
not gonna sing. Yeah, that's a 90s song. That's like early Foo Fighters from, like mid to late 90s. I don't want to be your monkey wrench as the chorus.
Better. That'd be more appropriate, right? Yeah.
If we want to go by the PUA name Monkey Wrench for him still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PUA, pickup artist for those.
Yeah.
Not initiated. It got awfully quiet after I said that. I don't know why.
That was kind of another early 10s thing. I mean, are we back into it's like some serious late 00s, early 10s nostalgia here?
Yeah.
Ron Paul,
early
the game,
nostalgia.
quantitative easing. It's all coming back.
Just as a preview, because we're not getting into it tonight. Like we said, we're going to wait for justice. But back in 2010, we read this book.
Yeah, there was a book that was popular about 10 years ago.
Right. And there was a whole online community, forums, seminars, lots of money flowing. It was the whole pickup artist community. And this book, The Game, was basically an initiation book where you had a guy who initiated himself into the community and documented it in the book. Mm-hmm. And so as you read the book, it's like a narrative of a noob coming into the community and learning everything from scratch, and you're learning along with him as you read the game. Mm-hmm. And it's the funny thing about the book is that they have it leather bound like a Bible with gold leaf and everything and the red little marker.
Yeah.
And it looks just like a Bible. So you're carrying it with you. People think you're a Christian.
That you're reading the Bible, but you're really reading.
You're really reading up on
the game.
How to tune your pussy magnet. Anyway, I'm not recommending the book or anything, but the point of that was we read it more for personal enrichment, to learn how to command a room, how to make a good first impression. There weren't a whole lot of charisma books back then. Now there's YouTube channels galore on charisma and things that you can find, but there wasn't that much information on it back then that I recall. And I found some of the information coming through that community to be some of the best on that topic. And it was something is still relevant to this day. I mean, you want to get ahead in life, you're going to have a little bit of ability to make an impression. And there are actual literal keys, evolutionary, like embedded little hacks that if you learn, you can have a leg up in the room that other people, aren't even aware of what you're doing. They're just thinking, wow, like this guy's making a good impression on me here. Hey, let's give him a bunch of money. Mm-hmm. Or something along those lines. Mm-hmm. So it's a more it can be used for more than just one purpose. Is what I'm saying. The information.
It can be used for good as well as for evil.
That's right. So it's like going and reading Sith text, but then taking from it Jedi techniques.
Yes.
Yes. Should we write
some
Jedi
abilities that some may consider unnatural?
Man, you really are a Darth Yoda. Maybe you should write your version of the game. It'll be like the Sith text version. Actually, that is the Sith version. No, you would have to write the good version.
No, I mean, it's like, come on, let's be clear here. I don't think that. I think the book is by definition one of the dark texts of the Sith.
Yes, you're right about that. Well, at least that's what every, I think, girl would think.
Yeah.
It does think. I always love seeing those videos where the author of the book would come onto a live interview and there'd be like some hot chick there on the
who would deny that it works and would be angry at the notion that it might work. And,
right. But you can totally tell it's working. Like you're just watching the body language and it's totally working. But she's denying it's working the whole time, but you're just watching her face and body language and it's like, no, it's working. I can totally see it in your face. You like dig this guy for some reason. But anyway, was there anything that the Land of 420 would like to plug tonight?
The Land of 420 is,
Let's see right here. Ancient orders and societies have twisted much ancient wisdom after having succumbed to infiltration and subversion. Beware of the Fabian Society. They have spread moral relativism throughout all nations. That is some ancient wisdom right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do believe that the Land of 420 has arrived at the moment of ancient wisdoms.
Indeed.
Right here. And yes, thank you very much for dropping bombs of knowledge. So people definitely check out the Land of 420's YouTube channel, dropping bombs of knowledge. And yeah, if you ever hear of the Fabian Society and they're asking you for a donation, don't do that. Don't do that.
No.
They spread moral relativism throughout the nations. And according to Stefan Molyneux, that would probably be right up there next to... the linguistic trickery of the God, I can't remember. But yeah, the moral relativists and the it's been a while since I've listened to a good Stefan Molyneux podcast stream. Though I have to say he's done some really terrific work on this coronavirus. So,
he has. I haven't listened to Molyneux in a very long time on a regular basis, but
you have to see what he's talking about if you see anything new, because the information is changing so rapidly that really going back and listening to videos from last week is a little bit not productive. But definitely if you're not tuned into the Stefan Molyneux channel, subscribe and click notifications to be notified of new content, because he's been going live lately, which is new for him. Just like with us, he's been going live and talking coronavirus and bringing truth, the way he always does, exposing truth. And it's funny with coronavirus. It reminds me, and I kind of like, maybe we should end on this, but back during the election, the 2016 campaign, is the 2015 campaign for 2016 election? Is that right?
2016 campaign, but you know how campaigns are. They start
like a year early.
So
right.
Yeah.
And so in 2015, Molyneux started talking about Western society, about the infiltration of our culture, and started talking about Trump and talking about the truth of Trump. Like, he became one of the top defenders of Trump. I mean, it's incredible. The guy who's a libertarian, yet you can't get him to say one good thing about Ron Paul for 6 years.
Yeah.
And then here comes 2015, and suddenly he's one of the largest defenders of Donald Trump on the internet. And I got to say, his content
that was right
terrific,
around when
though.
he posted his breakup letter with libertarianism, which I have to say I got through like 10 minutes of it and paused it and kept meaning to come back to it and see what the issue was, and I never got back to it.
And you haven't yet. Okay.
Yeah, I still haven't. But the name of the video like has always stuck in my mind. Stefan Molyneux's breakup letter to libertarians.
Oh, wow. Huh. I'm not sure that I've actually read that, but I was closely tuned into his weekly show, and he used to say all the time that, it's philosophy, it's reason and evidence first. Labels, flags, T-shirts, banners, all that's secondary. And he's happy to continue to consider himself libertarian. He's happy if others do, but a lot of people don't, because he's started venturing into talking about borders in ways that libertarians haven't traditionally spoke about borders.
Well, some have. I mean, the border issue is a tricky thing among libertarians. It's one of those things where in theory, you get to pure anarcho-capitalism. By definition, you no longer have political borders, but you still have private borders, the borders of your private property. So, it's kind of like this issue between kind of like what's in theory and where are we on a practical level in society right now. The big, the really controversial thing is kind of this, the Hans Hermann Hoppe theory of borders, where he basically says, God, I'm going to stumble over this, but the Hoppe style libertarianism about borders claims that essentially the government is the caretaker of what should be, private property. That somehow basically like the people of the nation are the collective owners of anything that is not currently private property, and therefore like the federal government should be protecting that sort of collective property. I've never been convinced by it, and like it's almost as incoherent as I make it out to be. But I don't know.
Well, I wish I could dive in on that conversation too. I like what I've read of Hoppe, but I haven't gotten deep into this particular thesis, which so maybe that's something in a future stream we could dive deeper into, do like a drill down on Hoppe.
Yeah, I should sit down and like really read his kind of borders stuff and a little more deeply, because I know I did not do it justice just now.
Oh man. But this whole Tecate virus scare has kind of put the whole border issue into a whole different light, hasn't it? Has it not?
Well, it has.
We didn't see this coming. I mean, we even made videos on our channel supporting having a more liberal border policy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we did? Oh, I don't remember that. But
oh yeah. There's, in fact, the featured video on our channel, I believe, is because we haven't made a proper. Maybe we should do that for the land of 420. It's asking what are we all about earlier, and well, anyway, we haven't made a proper channel video, so maybe we should consider to do that. But in the meantime, we have a video which is Justice talking about his journey into libertarianism. And one of the things
was when Monkey Wrench kept asking him, "Well, what is a border?" Yeah,
what is a border?
What is a border?
Define that for me.
Yeah.
How do you know what it is?
And that was part of the journey that brought Justice to anarcho-capitalism.
That's right. But even he, I think, if we were to ask him to revisit that topic, would have a different opinion now.
Yeah, the border issue is complex. It's
yeah.
It can be one of those things where there's what we have in theory, versus the real world that we live in right now. And, the classic libertarian, more mainstream libertarian issue, putting the Hoppe stuff aside, because I really didn't do that justice at all. But the classic libertarian argument about borders in reality versus theory is that if you have like a welfare state that's going to attract people, that you can't have an open border then. That's the issue that that mainstream libertarianism has kind of wrangled with for a long time.
Right. And now, if you are a carrier of a global pandemic bug, you can't have an open border. If there's people out there that are carrying global pandemic viruses, unfortunately, you cannot have an open border.
You know what I saw that was hilarious?
By the way, I see people popping in and out. If you're just now joining us, make sure to crack a Tecate. This is the Free Hollywood live Tecate stream. Tecate and chill, my friends.
Where Anarcho Jesus is turning water into Tecate.
That's right. We've been doing that all night.
Yeah. But Mexico has threatened to close their northern border to prevent the spread of Tecate virus from the United States into Mexico.
Yeah, from the round-eyed devils into the southern hemisphere of this side of the globe. my, how things, how do you say, the tides turn, things change. Yeah, it's total. I mean, what we're going to have, I believe, is exactly the fulfillment of the Donald Trump prophecy that there's going to be a wall and Mexico's going to pay for it. But the party left out was they're also going to build it. And they're going to build it to keep us out.
To keep our Tecate virus out of their country. Because, Mexico doesn't have a ton of cases right now compared to us. So I really don't blame them for wanting to close their border against us. So
technically, that's the news we're getting, but I don't think they also have a lot of test kits either.
Yeah, well, not that we do either, but
we don't. But as of this week, we do, or as of last week, like midweek. It was early in the week. I got to give credit where credit's due. It was early in the week, and I was complaining on the last stream about Orange Man being bad by not having a bit more concern over this situation and giving people more specific instructions what they ought to be doing and kind of easing us into it rather than, the hard, into the wall but they did early last week speak up and begin to speak of test kits and that this thing is really serious and so forth.
So Land of 420 in the comment stream gives a shout out to the Birch Society, which we'll echo that here. We used to know some good Birchers who came to the old Free Hollywood meetup.
That's right.
Juliet was a Bircher, isn't she? Or I mean, she used to always promote their stuff.
Oh yeah. I believe that was one of her influences, and the other being just your typical Ayn Rand objectivism. I think, that's fair. She was always really. She was really adamant that we should never use the word anarchy.
Well, because
I remember one time. Go ahead.
She felt like anarchy was associated in the public mind with in America they weren't called Antifa back then, but what at the time was usually called the Black Bloc, and is now usually referred to as Antifa. But kind of your more like hard left, like anarcho-communists, as opposed to us being anarcho-capitalists. The anarcho-communists being associated in the public mind with, we're going to smash the windows of Starbucks and, all this stuff at that time period.
Right.
And so her concern was kind of the marketing of it. And if we call ourselves anarchists, we're going to, be associating ourselves with a word that has a negative image in the mind of, the average people.
Right. So we decided to call ourselves comrades instead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, she was really adamant never to use anarchy. But for me, I was thinking, well, we could rebrand the term to be more like what it really is.
Yeah, exactly.
Peaceful and voluntary exchange and things.
Because ultimately, we are for abolishing the state. I mean, I don't think the Birchers are not for ultimately abolishing the state, but we are of that wing of libertarianism that it's not going to happen tomorrow. It may not happen in our lifetimes, but the ultimate goal, is to evolve beyond coercive political government.
And we're also that wing of the Libertarian Party that would give you the room to do what you want to do and to give it a try. Like, there's many paths to liberty. Who's to say my path is any more relevant than your path or more effective? We need to give all paths room to run their course and to prove themselves out, whether or not they can be effective in promoting liberty to the individual and to the group, the collective, dare I say.
Yeah.
And, people would probably wonder where we stand on that with the whole comrade get up. No, we're.
Well, it was sort of like this ironic kind of, kind of communism.
I love the look. But yes, no, we're not literally brown shirts.
We made berets great again very briefly.
That's right. Back in 2008. And by the way, that's the other video that's going to be coming back again soon is the bank run video, our inaugural video. And we got that copyright strike. So I'm digging out the old computer and the old hard drives, and I'm going to find that project and redo the music.
So I don't know if you're monitoring the group chat, but Roger, just doxed him. Justice wants to know if we corroborated the stuff that he sent us earlier about the quarantine for anybody 65 plus, bars being mandated to close and restaurants going half capacity in California. That's all stuff that he sent us earlier, and he's asking us now if we corroborated that.
That's we haven't corroborated it because we've been live streaming if he's listening in. But at the same time, if he is listening in, maybe he could help corroborate some of that and give us the update that the information that we've received is not just rumor, because we didn't report it as rumor. We reported it as actual fact. But it's been a little bit more than 2 hours since we reported that. I think maybe we should just give an update for any new viewers. I see we have a few new viewers that have come on. Make sure to hit the thumbs up to encourage other people to join the stream.
Yes.
Did you want to read that again?
Okay, so I'm going to read what... I just pulled up mainstream media here. I just pulled up ktla.com, for local LA media. Let's see. And the lead on KTLA website is California governor calls for closure of all bars and wineries, home isolation of everyone 65 and over. So, yes, Justice, we have that corroborated now in mainstream media.
Yeah, there it is. I've just pulled it up on the screen share on my computer there. I'm going to click and drill down into that article here. Should we watch the video?
Sure, why not?
Great.
We got a 30-second ad or something for the F-150.
F-150. Only $300 because of the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
Quickly as the virus is spreading, testing kits for those who need them remain a critical problem, despite White House promises today that more are on the way. Schools, businesses, bars, and clubs are closing to limit people from gathering and spreading the disease. In no uncertain terms, tonight the United States is shutting down to save itself.
I'm supposed to pause it like every 10 seconds for copyright reasons. This is what the best practices of YouTube producers, I believe, is that you're supposed to pause now and then and just interject. This is
okay.
Right. Like we're not just stream sniping, we're adding value every 10 seconds by pausing the stream and just talking for a minute.
Beautiful day outside.
As the number of coronavirus infections all but doubles across the nation in just 24 hours, President Trump is a...
They didn't double across the nation in 24 hours. We just have test kits now. That's the only thing that changed.
So in other words, it was already out there. Just now we are becoming aware of stuff that already existed.
Exactly. I think that's exactly what's going on here.
In urging calm.
You don't have to buy so much. Take it easy. Just relax.
Hey, people. You're going to be able to wipe your ass, okay? Just calm down with all the toilet paper snatching. Man, the fights. God, those videos have been entertaining as hell.
They buy more than they buy at Christmas. Relax. We're doing great. It all will pass.
By the way, a little tip for those of you that did not grow up in the 1950s. You can dry your corn cob in the sunshine, and it becomes very useful in times like this.
But moments later, the president's own coronavirus task force contradicted him with a much less rosy outlook.
The worst is yes ahead for us. It is how we respond to that challenge.
Man, oh my God, even these people don't give two fucks anymore. It's like, I'm just going to tell people what's going on. All right, President Trump, you're trying to paint this rosy picture. Here's what's really going on. It's going to get a lot worse.
That's going to determine what the ultimate endpoint is going to be.
The number of cases across the U.S. now more than 3,000. 65 people have died. Responding to the economic fallout, the Federal Reserve slashing interest rates to nearly zero.
And I'm sure that was completely independent.
Because they've lowered the Fed rate from what it was, which was 1 to 1.25, and it's been lowered down to 0 to 0.25.
In California, nearly...
Yeah, I hear a comment coming.
Yeah. Orange Man is very happy with... he is preparing his bulging stimulus package to inject liquidity, just like we used to say about Obama.
This is such a nostalgia stream, dude. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's we're all about the late 00s, early 10s nostalgia here right now.
Yeah, I remember it was
bulging
Obama's
stimulus packages and
throbbing
liquidity
injections.
And,
yes, liquidity injections. Trump, I don't know, man. Is it the same as Obama? Maybe it is. Maybe it's just more of the same. But I kind of always felt that with Trump, he had a bit of a better understanding of the economy in general than Obama did.
He did, but he did when Obama was in power. And now that he's in power, he wants to keep the bubble going as long as he can.
He wants to double up on it, double down.
Yeah.
And in some ways, from what I've heard him say, and like trying to be fair to Trump, because he doesn't get a whole lot of fair treatment on things he says, but trying my best to be fair. I mean, I have my orange man bad moments too, but let's be fair. It seems like what he's saying is, look, everyone else in the world is abusing the central banking system and the monetary policies in order to lower interest rates and to make things easier for themselves. Why should the United States be at a disadvantage by not doing the same while everyone else is doing these things? And what do you think of that? First of all, like, is that any kind of an argument to make? Because I believe that's the argument he makes. Not so much that I love it and it's great. We need to, do as much of it as possible, but rather we're at a strategic disadvantage if we don't do it. And because they're doing it, then we need to do it even more. I'm starting to sound like him as I'm saying it.
Yeah.
We need negative interest rates. Negative interest rates.
No.
They have negative interest rates in Australia. We need them here.
Well, yeah. Australia run their economy into the ground too. We can join the rest of the world in a hyperinflation then. So
the whole world can go off a cliff. We have a parachute.
Yeah. We have the best parachute.
We have the biggest. This parachute is huge. Let me tell you, if you could see this parachute.
You could see this parachute. It's huge. It's the best. Best parachute.
Oh my God. Let me all right. Did we finish this? All right. let's a little bit
No,
more.
we haven't actually gotten to the California part yet. That
Maybe I can skip ahead to the California part because
yeah.
Okay, Trump's talking. Thank God for thumbnails. Who's this talking? Is that Rand Paul?
Or is that Gavin Newsom? Because that's,
I mean, yeah. Okay. For a second there, the hairstyle and everything, it looked like Rand Paul. I was like, no, why would Rand Paul? Okay. That's earlier. It's the love of 420. It's got me thinking on Rand Paul. Okay. Well, it's hard to tell what they're talking about with a bunch of talking heads. So let me just back up to the Gavin Newsom start part of there's President Trump. Okay.
We are calling for the home isolation of all seniors in the state of California.
Okay, there it is.
We're calling for the home isolation of all of those 65 years and older and those with chronic conditions. We are doing so with our eyes wide open at the magnitude of what that means and the need to provide wraparound services to support our seniors.
Did you hear it? There it is. Wraparound services. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about liquidity injection and wraparound services. The reach around service?
All right, so we can let Justice know that his information has been corroborated.
Right on, right on. Definitely sent him that text. And yeah, let's go ahead and do we want to hear any more of this? I think we're done with that. I'm going to...
No, we're done. No, we were just making sure that Justice did not invent this out of thin air. But yeah, it's as bad as he told us it was.
Well, that's pretty good. We can listen to video. Did that sound all right?
It didn't sound great, but it was, you could make it out. Yeah.
I mean, it's more of old school microphone listening to a speaker trick in order to get that to work, which I'm sure doesn't sound the best, but if you can make it out, at least it's better than nothing. Because I think what we get through StreamYard, at least with Firefox, is nothing on the audio front. You have to use Chrome, and we possible. So no Chrome in the Anarcho Jesus household. Only Chrome on my Tesla.
Not Brave.
Well, I don't have Brave, but maybe I should. Is that available for Mac as well?
Good question. I don't know.
Brave browser. Oh, and by the way,
Brave browser. For those who don't know, Brave browser is is a very privacy-focused browser that it's got its own Ethereum token connected to it that you can earn from basically watching pop-up videos and stuff that'll come up on your on the Brave browser.
And the Brave browser is very popular among people that are really concerned with internet privacy and wanting to maintain their own anonymity, and especially people that are dealing in trading cryptocurrencies and things like that. Just want that added layer of security. Definitely check out the Brave browser. Do as I say, not as I do.
Plus, it's got its own token, which you can use to reward your favorite content creators through the Brave browser.
How cool would that be if YouTube had something along those lines? But that would be kind of competitive against their advertisers. So I guess that's not ever going to be in the cards.
No. But the market provides. I mean,
Max,
if crypto ever really takes off in a serious way, you could see these alternatives, happening. I mean, with the monetization of YouTube becoming more and more difficult, people could shift over to just sending people BAT tokens over the Brave browser for videos that they like.
Absolutely. And I was just thinking of Max Kaiser when he was a younger financial analyst on Wall Street. He was trying to create some sort of stock market for Hollywood movies. He was trying to create like a way to invest in Hollywood movies or something along those lines. And from that birthed the idea of attention tokens, or I don't believe they were called attention tokens at the time, but he was calling it, he would describe it. What he would describe is basically an attention token.
Yeah, because that's what BAT stands for, is basic attention token. That's
right.
That's BAT coin.
I need to get me some of that. How much is it right now? I don't know. You check that out. I'll continue talking.
I don't even want to.
Never
know.
mind. Are you holding a bag?
Yeah, I have a bag of bat.
He has a bag and he doesn't want to know.
if there's, it's one of those altcoins where, like, there's an actual project behind it. I mean, and it's not just some bullshit thing. So, if this stuff ever gets going, I mean, BAT, if there's any of these that are safe, outside of like basically the top 5, BAT is one to consider because it's connected to, a web browser, and there's real work being done on it. All right, so BAT right now is 11.9 cents.
And how close is that to the not the all-time lows, but let's just say like 5-year low?
BAT probably didn't exist like 5 years ago.
Oh crap. So we're talking about some real speculation right here.
Yeah, BAT. Not
that Bitcoin's not speculation, but if you're going to speculate within cryptocurrency, just know what you're getting into. I mean,
yeah,
it's speculative enough to buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And that's one that's kind of proven itself over 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how long BAT's been out, but that's
it's the idea that Max Kaiser was referring to when he said there's only so many eyeballs in the world and there's only so many hours in a day, and there's a value associated with how many of those hours, those eyeballs are spent on content. And when you pay attention to content, there is a value transfer that's happening, and there needs to be some sort of monetization of that. And there's where you have your basic attention token. The idea has been manifested into a alternative cryptocurrency, BAT. And but that is exactly what he was describing, at least in theory. And I thought it was a brilliant idea when I first heard it.
BAT is, and the Brave browser are trying to put this into action. So,
and what about Steam? Steam.
I haven't heard about Steam in a while because Steam is another one that was designed to be kind of a blockchain-based way for content creators to earn. I haven't been hearing about Steam lately, though. So
I should look that up. I thought I heard some bad news. But that's like everything right now.
Yeah, I mean, everything is bad news right now. Even gold was bad news this week. Over in the comment screen, Land of 420, and this is relevant given my Game of Thrones style reread of the Old Testament that I'm doing right now. He's talking about like the old of Land of 420 is talking about the old theory that's been around for a while that Moses, if we assume for the sake of argument that Moses is an actual historical person, he's talking about Moses having potentially been influenced by Akhenaten, who was the pharaoh who tried to impose monotheism upon New Kingdom Egypt.
I'm loving what I'm hearing. I want you to continue with what you're saying. I'm going to go take a piss, but I've got the speakers turned up. I can hear you in the other room. Keep going.
All right. So this is a theory that's been around there for a long time. With the underlying premise, of course, is that Moses and Aaron and all the characters that you read about in the book of Exodus are actual historical figures, that this isn't just a legend that was written, hundreds upon hundreds of years later. So there was this pharaoh. And the reason I'm going off about this is because of Land of 420 in our comments is, been posting about secret societies and things, and kind of what he's talking about at the roots of Freemasonry and so on. But anyway, so Akhenaten was a pharaoh of Egypt who came to power. He abolished the traditional Egyptian religion that most people have heard of to some extent, that featured, Osiris and Horus, Isis, all of those deities. And he basically said, no, there's one God. He's the sun god, and everybody's got to worship this one God. So the theory that's been around for, a long time has been that if Moses is an actual historical person, that he got his monotheism from this particular pharaoh who was pushing it. at that time, and then Moses brings it out of Egypt through the Exodus, and there you have the beginnings of the Hebrew monotheism. Land of 420. If you're in the comments there and still paying attention, hopefully I got that roughly accurately. So the monotheism in Egypt didn't last very long after Akhenaten died. As I recall, all memory of him was basically purged from most of the Egyptian records. And they immediately, they went right back to their traditional, spiritual views there.
And I'm back.
Yeah. So I just gave the overview of the story of Akhenaten and the theory that Moses and Hebrew monotheism came out of that. And again, this is coming out of Land of 420's comments in our comment section here. Which you could kind of scroll through to Anarcho Jesus.
Yeah, let me throw my reading glasses on. I need to heal myself.
We get into that. Third degree master masons are usually very good men. Yes, Land of 420. I will inform you that my dad is a third degree mason. Never went up higher than that.
My grandfather was some level of something.
Not very active, but at some point when he was younger, he became a mason. And
now wait a second, the Shriners. Degree. The Shriners, are they associated with the Masons? Because he was a Shriner. Maybe that's a different thing.
Okay.
He was a 32-degree Shriner.
Okay, so the Shriners they're related to the Masons somehow, or maybe they're influenced by the Masons,
or maybe they're the activist arm of the Masons. They do the public service. They ride on the trikes and raise money for kids and things.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like they do the public PR stuff that the Masons don't like to do because they like to keep things behind secret underwear and closed doors.
Yeah. Okay, so actually Land of 420 has some unflattering things to say about the Shriners. Shriners hire hookers, have ritual gangbangs on altars. So
probably not in the small town where my grandpa was doing it, but
maybe this is similar.
I wish it was true. I'd love to know that story.
Yeah, maybe this is similar to the kind of old allegations about the Masons. Just your average Mason isn't involved with the higher up stuff. So maybe the theory is that that's similar with the Shriners, that your grandpa wasn't having gangbangs on altars, but the leader, the highest up Shriners maybe are up to no good or something.
Right.
I guess it's the theory. I don't know.
Kind of like those.
I'm not that familiar with the Shriners.
Sounds sort of like those multi-level marketing schemes like Mary Kay or what's the other one that's really popular? Amway. Yeah, Amway.
Yeah.
Where, there are people, that there's people in this company that are like ballers, it's just like 0.0001% that are lucky enough. But the rest of them are just, like scamming on the streets, trying to scam people. Anyway, not a good analogy, but let's continue. I want to drill down into this conversation. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's do this.
So
that's my signal to you to continue.
Well, which part of it?
I don't know. I was taking a piss and the laundry was going, so I really didn't get to hear. But I agree with where you were going. Yeah, what you were saying. All right, I'm kind of reading through it right now too. It's good stuff. It's funny how you remember PewDiePie? Was promoting some YouTube channels and then later got flagged for being a Nazi because one of the YouTube channels that he briefly mentioned that actually had content that he liked was a white supremacist channel or something along those lines. Yeah,
that's where the PewDiePie as a Nazi thing came from.
That's part of it. Yeah, there was. To be fair, the one that was more.
Is relevant. PewDiePie still big? I haven't heard you mention him in a while.
Oh, he's huge, but he took a 1-month break.
Oh, okay.
And he's been surpassed by several other channels that have twice as many as subscribers as he does now.
Oh, damn.
Which is crazy to think about. There's one that's a children's, it's like an animated children's lullaby channel called Coco Melon. and my God, dude, it raced to 200 million subscribers, dude. Like within a couple of months, passing to PewDiePie, and I mean, I don't guess anything will ever catch T-Series. I shouldn't say that because all things come to an end. I saw Ray William Johnson and his popularity. I worked with him. Used to make those cartoons. So your favorite Martian. But yeah, we saw that crash and burn and disappear into obscurity. But at the time, I mean, 4 million subscribers, and we'd get like 20 million views per video, easy, like each video. And at a time when 20 million views really meant something. And I mean, it still does, but
Yeah.
in 2011, it really meant something. You know.
Yeah. So
I remember
PewDiePie,
doing YouTube.
So PewDiePie's really been, surpassed him, because I remember there was like this, it wasn't that long ago that there was the big battle between PewDiePie and some Bollywood
that was
channel
T-Series.
out of India.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
the T-Series one that I was mentioning. Yeah, that's like the MTV of India, basically, online. You know, basically what MTV was to the United States in the like early 80s, 82, 83,
Yeah.
is what T-Series was last year.
Oh,
and
into
now it's
India.
grown into like this dominant media empire, basically, for music videos. Even though they're not very, I guess, following the YouTube rules as strictly as PewDiePie is and others. Like they're actually posting copywritten content without permission and stuff.
Oh.
And not getting flagged.
And they're not
for
getting
it.
not getting flagged on YouTube for it. Oh,
They're just too big. You know, I mean,
yeah, too
PewDiePie-
big to fail. Too big to fail.
Oh, by the way, they called PewDiePie a Nazi because he paid these guys on Fiverr to say "death to the Jews," and they were like these Bush-looking people, like carrying a sign that says "death to the Jews," and they actually did it. And he just pulled the video up and played it without previewing it on his video, and he left it in there. In the final cut, it was a gag. You know, it was actually a funny bit in his video that day because he was producing daily videos.
Yeah.
You know, tons of content. You know, how are you going to keep track with every single thing you post if you're doing that? But yeah, that was, I guess, not taken as a joke by certain people. Yeah, they say, "Oh yeah, he's for sure a Nazi." You know, look at his hairstyle. look at the color of his skin. Look at
Yes, he's
look at his
blonde.
eye color.
Yeah. Because he's what? He's a blonde guy from Sweden or someplace, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy from Sweden.
Yeah.
And you know, these are things that are taken into consideration apparently these days in 2020.
Yes.
You know, this
Makes
color
you
of your skin, the color of your eyes,
automatically suspicious.
the color of your hair, whether you have hair
Oh
or
yeah.
not.
Yeah.
All these, all these things. I thought we were supposed to be past that by now, people. Like,
No.
didn't you listen to this?
No, these are all just signs that you are at best a Russian bot.
Oh man, top 10 signs you're a Russian bot. You say anything positive about Trump.
You
That's
see anything positive about Tulsi Gabbard?
you say anything positive about Bernie Sanders.
Yes. You're against the
say-
war in Syria.
If you repost Project Veritas.
If you think Hillary lost because she ran just a shitty ass campaign.
If you believe that tinfoil hat rumor that Hillary's health is bad.
If you think Joe Biden might have some early signs of dementia.
Oh man, I think I'm out on that one.
Yeah.
I'm a total Russian bot in that case. Wow. Should we pull up the montage? I saw one earlier today. I'm going to see if I can find it in my YouTube history.
So similar to you, Land of 420 had a great grandfather who was a Shriner.
Yes, and he was good person and all, like you were saying.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, my
yeah.
grandpa was like, he's my hero.
Yeah.
And the Shriner hat, that's just memorabilia at this point because he's long gone. But, it was a war hero in World War II, and, lots of great stories there. And then later just went on to be this really important person in the city, and ran a shift of men at the paper company until he retired and took care of his wife until she passed away, and then he married my grandma. And yeah, that's right. Even though I'm the Lord Jesus's twin stepbrother, I also have a stepdad, and there is a grandma involved too. We'll get into that later. We'll drill into that later. Okay. It gets complicated. Okay. There is a Trinity, just like you think, and all that, but it's more complicated than that too. But this isn't that show tonight. All right. We're going to just continue.
We'll get into all this like heavy theology as to like how you fit into the Godhead on another episode.
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate that we can postpone that for another time because I really want to stick on this topic. I'm going to drill in. It's kind of nice. I'm really glad that you're able to stay on the stream for so long tonight. There might be times like this in the very near future where we can EFAP style stream for 6 hours straight. I think they've done record streams of 10 to 12 hours. I think that's the limit. YouTube is they kind of start limiting it at about 12 hours. Have you seen EFAP?
I don't think so. No.
Just a quick shout out to EFAP over on the Mahler channel. That's Mauler Mahler channel. He is a YouTuber that I respect who does movie reviews and pop culture live stream. But they go for hours, and he calls it EFAP, which you would think it means one thing, but it actually means every frame a pause. And what they do is like kind of what we did with the KTLA video, but they'll like review some pop culture analyst reviewing something that they love and know much more about this than this analyst does, and then they'll just rip into the analyst reviewing their favorite thing for 5 hours.
Oh, okay.
And, just pausing it along the way, like every frame a pause, like we were doing, just pausing it every 10 seconds or so. But they just kind of do that for, as much as possible, like every frame. Every frame. So anyway, how do we get back to the Freemason conversation?
Oh,
from here. My, grandpa. Can I tell the quick grandpa story? Just a quick one.
yeah, go for it.
It was World War II, and he had this pocket Bible, like a New Testament in his pocket. He kept, not that he was a incredibly religious person, but in times of foxholes and of existentialism, you become religious. It doesn't matter who you are. And he kept that pocket New Testament for times just like that. And he found himself in a time of existential crisis where he didn't know what to do. It was something like 2,000 German soldiers that were, he was Operation of Strategic Services, which is like dropping in behind enemy lines back in the old days. Like that was the Green Berets of his time. I mean, not quite as cool as the Green Berets like we think of them today with all the high tech and special training, but they had their special training and they did all the dangerous stuff that the Green Berets do. And dropping in behind enemy lines, seeing the German soldiers approaching, not exactly sure what to do. He pops out the pocket New Testament and says, "All right, Lord, this is a time I need some guidance. now this isn't the way you're supposed to study the Bible, people. We've been over this. We can go over it again in the future. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Right.
He was
Is
asking
this
for
the whole when I was wondering what the spiritual significance of the misbehaving ox, the law about misbehaving oxen was about.
Right. Like this is, not the way we would recommend to study scripture, but in this particular circumstance, this is what happened and this is what he needed, and he was basically asking for that miracle. And he was like, should we run and hide? Should we confront? What should we
did he do the old open the Bible at random to basically get a message?
That's right, exactly. And he flipped it open and it went to a passage in, I believe, in Thessalonians, where it says he led captivity captive. And that was all that he needed to see. He's like, I guess we're supposed to confront these people and try to negotiate their surrender. So he had an interpreter that spoke German with him, and that was it. It was just the two of them. He had them change their uniforms in some specific ways to make it seem as though they weren't actually the type of people that they were as soldiers, but rather more like negotiators on behalf of the alliance. Was it the alliance? That's what they called themselves back then. But the Europeans and
the allies, or
the allies, yes, the allies. So basically, because of that Bible verse that he led captivity captive, Papa took it on himself to lead these Germans captive, if God willing, and by his grace, and confronted the German soldier at great peril and risking his life, used the interpreter to negotiate with the captain of these German soldiers on a bluff that the Allies were just over the hill and on their way and had them greatly outnumbered. And this is to save all your men's lives. Our lives mean nothing, because they threatened to kill them right then and there. And our lives mean nothing. Why do you think they sent us? We're here to negotiate your surrender. And after hours of negotiation, they rounded up into groups of hundreds and laid their weapons down, and he began marching them. And sure enough, here's come the Allies, as just like what he said was true. He thought he was lying and bluffing.
Even though he didn't know that was actually
he didn't know
the case.
it, but that's what happened. And so there's no great story written about that, but it's one that I know. And now you all that were listening tonight know it too.
Excellent.
And as a finishing thing, just to finish it off, he told me the story that they had prison camps made of universities and hospitals and so forth. And because that German officer was so cooperative with him, after it was all said and done, he saw that officer one final time in one of the prison camps and shook his hand just for being so cooperative and so forth. But it was one of the Ally soldiers saw him shaking hands with the German and misinterpreted that as being like he's a traitor. And like stuck a gun in his back.
Oh,
told him, I'm going to kill you because I know you're a traitor now. And he's like, no, you've got it all wrong, but I can't really explain myself. And he just walked away with his back to him the whole time.
That's an alpha move. That's an alpha move. Yeah.
But that's an alpha move?
Yeah.
That's high T?
Yeah. Yeah.
He said the hairs were standing up on the back of his neck as he walked away, just expecting to hear the sound of the gun. And it never came.
Mm-hmm. Although, if the trigger was pulled, you wouldn't hear the sound of the gun. You'd be dead before...
before you hear it?
Before you heard it, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's just how alpha he was. He wasn't expecting to actually die from that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a high T move right there.
Yeah, and that's the full story. Yeah. But anyway, how do we get back to the Masons from there? Thank you so much. Your live stream is fire, Land at 420 says. Thank you so very much. Yeah, I'm not an expert on the Freemasons personally. Like I said, I just know that Papa was involved loosely through the Shriners
Yeah.
and so forth. And we have others in the group, by the way, that are a bit more versed in the occult and so forth. And maybe we could get them on the stream as well at some point. And actually, maybe we'll get the Land of 420 on the stream. How would you like that? Some future stream. We're 3 hours in tonight.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally.
Yeah.
We could do a full Mason stream
Yeah.
and bring Ben.
This could get out of control.
This could get out of hand.
I don't know if I necessarily like where all this is going, but this could get out of control very easily.
Definitely got to get Justice in there to help moderate.
Yeah. Think Ben would have no, we're not going to dox people, but there are people you're thinking of who would have very different views on World War II than what you just mentioned. So,
Oh, yeah, that's true too. I wasn't thinking of that.
yeah.
Yeah. They'll be like, your grandpa was a traitor.
Yeah.
He ruined everything.
Yeah.
Those Germans had the right idea.
Yeah.
There is a really, I guess, very popular show on Amazon Prime called The Man at High Tower.
Okay.
You know the one I'm talking about?
No,
I'm not
I know
saying
the
it
one.
quite right, but
The Man of the High Tower.
yeah,
It's one of those shows where like I keep hearing that the original book is a lot better, but I have neither read the book nor seen the show.
okay. I did watch episode 1 and I loved it, but then I got rid of Amazon as a Prime service. And yeah, I've never regretted that decision. I'm more of a Walmart kind of guy, but here we are in the midst of the Tecate flu, and I guess Amazon, man, thank God for Amazon, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think everyone like in the United States is collectively going,
It's on Amazon right now. Yeah.
thank God for Amazon. And so, I mean, I guess we should sideline the full Mason stream until we can get the Land of 420 on with us. But, one thing I'd like to do is like a quick follow up on our preparation information. Like now that it's official and California is quarantined if you're over the age of 65, and restaurants are to what? Have like half their customers? What, turn half their customers away? I didn't get
Something
that part.
like that. I mean, all right, Justice should be on here.
How does that supposed to work?
Justice
Look,
keeps
the free market already turned half of our customers away.
Yeah, Justice keeps messaging us. If he can message us, he could be on the actual stream.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
this is, he says
Tell
all
him,
restaurants have to have their capacity.
They have to have half of the capacity.
Yeah.
I wish our restaurant could get half of our capacity. That would be awesome. Right now, we're down to like 1 or 2 people at a time. Our restaurant seats about 50 people. It'd be great to get 20-something people up in there. Man, that'd be a good night. So if that's the standard, we're fine because we're not even hitting like 10% of that at any given time, including deliveries. Yeah, I have a feeling the restaurant's going to be closing very shortly. But that's good for me because that means I'll have lots of ramen for the next several months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We're
So
over the 3. Huh?
Tell Justice that the link is in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just chatted so many times that it's way, way up there. You got to scroll up. There it is. Here, maybe I can call his attention to it. Okay, sorry, that's dead air, but I'm just sending a link to Justice to join in.
Although
He's going to
Justice-
clarify about
Justice, if you're gonna join soon because we're over the 3-hour mark. And
yeah, this is our streaming record, but fortunately, I went ahead and paid for the full StreamYard account. That's why we have the nice graphics and overlays. But as well, I think we get unlimited stream time. So I figured we're going to be blasting through whatever limits they have on the free account. Like tonight, we probably spent that. So we can go as long as we need to, but just because some people aren't on Hollywood time, we probably will wrap it shortly. But you please do join us, man. That would make tonight complete. We've had a full nostalgia stream tonight.
I know. We've been in full late 00s, early 10s nostalgia here. I mean, it's been,
talking Ron Paul meetups and Freedom Fridays and the Epic.
The book.
And the game. Yep. Exactly. I'm expecting his little icon to just pop in at any moment.
Yeah. No, isn't he at work
so
now?
while you people, and by the way, I mean, stream ending in 5 minutes or not, I'm cracking another. We're 4 deep at this point in the Tecate flu stream, the no panic quarantine and chill stream, Tecate edition. So what do you plan to do, Darth Yoda, during your quarantine?
Well, I'm not quarantined. I'm going to get up and go to work tomorrow.
Are you crazy?
No. So
okay.
Life goes on.
Well, do you work around a lot of people? You don't work in like retail or something, do you?
No, I don't work in retail.
Okay.
I'm not going to dox myself, but I work in healthcare.
You have a set number of people that you deal with each day that haven't been traveling to China recently.
No, nobody who's been traveling to China recently that I know of. But we're taking precautions.
Well, that's good to hear. And you're fully prepared? Who's fully prepared? No one's fully prepared.
No one's fully prepared, but it's one of those things where, when you think about it in an emotional sense, we've been, people like you and I have been preparing for something like this for a long time. So
over a decade.
Yeah.
2008 was a long time ago now.
Yeah.
Still seems like yesterday to some of us, though.
Yeah, but we've been kind of preparing ourselves for a long time, at least, and knowing that something like this was going to happen sooner or later. And
I feel bad at this point to be talking about preparing because it's a little late. It's like you didn't buy gold. I don't want to tell you. I mean, yeah, sure, buy some now.
Well, that's part of the troubling aspect of this is that gold went down last week along with the mainstream markets, and that's not usually how it behaves.
Well, and Bitcoin is going down as well. So what this seems to indicate to me, and I think we could do a full 3-hour stream on just this one topic alone. But the correlation thesis, whether or not Bitcoin and crypto is an uncorrelated asset to financial markets or not. Typically, gold has been an uncorrelated asset that you can trust to be a store of value or a hedge against financial markets in times of downturn, and it seemed for a time, like for several days, that's exactly what was happening with gold, but not so much with Bitcoin.
Gold almost hit 1,700, but now it's dropped, right back down.
Where is it now?
Oh God, it ended, the day that the mainstream markets tanked. Was pretty bad for gold too. It burned down pretty bad. When I pull up the Kitco app, it says 1530.
404.
Yeah, 1530 gold. Silver.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, silver 14. So
I was kidding it. I mean, can't even talk anymore. God, this feels like watching Bitcoin tumble to hear those numbers. So you can actually buy silver or gold right now. It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Thanks for breaking that to me.
Yeah, but that's not, it's troubling because this isn't usually the way it goes.
Oh, but that's right. There's the silver lining. Yeah, I can't leave people hanging. I had an actual silver lining here. Those numbers kind of threw me off, but the silver lining of this whole thing was if gold is falling as financial markets are also falling, then the non-correlation thesis for crypto is still on the table because this is anomalous all around. Mm-hmm. You can't trust much of what you're seeing right now as far as if you're trying to take past behavior and apply it to present day action and expect to see some sort of something that makes sense, then you may be expecting a little too much. We just watched the Bitcoin weekly candle close below the 200 weekly moving average tonight. And I'm checking it right now. Bitcoin price currently is forming a brand new candle. And we're at 52.60 or 52.60. Okay. Sounds good to me. I'm on a different exchange. I'm on Bitfinex, I think.
Okay.
But the point is, it didn't do what we expected. It didn't do what it's supposed to do. And you're going to have to learn to be okay with that. I watched that happen with Tesla last year. It broke down. It broke structure. It didn't do what it was supposed to do. And I would tell people, well, buy Tesla. Don't, it was like I didn't have much confidence in my voice to tell people to buy Tesla anymore. Mm-hmm. And every time I would say it, people would laugh me out of the room and say, ha, 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 you should buy this or that instead. This is like pumping. Tesla's, that's technically what was happening at the time. But who's laughing now? I'm not laughing.
Yeah, well, you're not laughing because
I experienced a lot of pain through all that. There's nothing to laugh about, man. It wasn't funny.
Yeah, well, and now Tesla's crashed right back down with the rest of the market too. So,
but the nice thing about Tesla crashing back down, it's still like I'm still like way like 200% over my cost basis at this point. Yeah. So it's nothing that I really need to worry about all that much. I can come on down a little further. I'll buy some more. I don't usually tend to raise my cost basis, but on a stock like Tesla, that's nothing but growth. You got to consider it when it comes down to 420. Absolutely. I'll be right there with you with my limits set. For sure. Yeah. Well, I don't see Justice popping in, so I don't think he's going to join us. He was saying here in our private chat that nothing's really changed since the article. He has nothing to break.
Yeah.
But you can still join us if you like, my friend. If you're listening in, we'd still love to have you. I'm going to actually text that to him.
Although it might be time for me to kind of wrap it up here.
All right then.
In a minute.
All right then, old man. 50 years old, man.
I'm not 50 years old. I'm just on a different coast than you are right now.
Well, Darth Yoda is supposed to be 50 years old.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and
just going with the Darth Yoda avatar, I think 50 years old and still a baby would technically put you in the man baby.
Yeah,
category.
Which technically mean like I should be up like all fucking night right now.
Yeah. Right. All you need is a little formula.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Yeah.
But it's all right. I guess Justice won't be joining us. But man, I really appreciate
all right. I think
you sticking around for as long as you have, and for all you that's still listening. But especially for you that would actually come back and watch this and listen to this at any time in the future on the replay. Wow. Hats off to you, man. Big time.
Yeah.
That you would last this long into
for making it through over 3 hours of this with us.
Right. Especially since this is very time sensitive information and won't age well.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this like a year from now.
Yeah. Big time hats off to you. Like you're my hero.
Greetings.
You're my hero.
Greetings from the Tecate virus era.
Yeah. greetings from 2020, which has been entirely canceled at this point. So
Yeah.
we'll see you at least in 2021. And yeah. Do we end like that?
So let's end it
what's
like
our
that.
sign off? I guess my sign off lately has been love the ones you love and take care of yourself.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Squeeze them tight if you
Yeah.
love them. You know, like
Wash
really.
your hands. Go
Yeah, but wash your hands
people.
first. Yeah,
Eat
yeah, and
right.
don't
And
shake
go-
hands.
Don't shake hands. No, wash your hands. Don't shake hands. Eat right. Exercise.
Exercise.
And,
I
yeah.
need to do some more of that. I think
Yeah.
I've been sitting here streaming for 3 hours straight. It's time to go do some push-ups.
Good call. All right.
Well, I can't wait till we do this again, man. This has been fun.
Yes.
And I'll be heading over to the Land of 420 to subscribe right now, and we'll be looking forward to doing a live stream with him, hopefully in the future. So definitely hit us
Excellent.
up.
Yeah.
Hit us
Thanks,
up.
Land of 420.
So, all right. Take care, my
All
friend.
right.
Have a great
All right.
night.
Yeah.
And,
Good night.
Peace to all you.
Yeah.